Well, we could wait here for a little bit, I guess, and just hope those things will make it through the door.
Yeah, okay, what's the next option?
Well, okay, we could see what's out through this way, maybe find another tunnel.
No more tunnels.
Then, I don't know, we try our luck up top.
Okay, just to be clear, so our options are die here, die in the tunnels, or die in the streets. Is that pretty much the summing up?
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
I'm Chelsea Duff.
And today we are joined by a very special guest. We have Lauren Ogle, did I say it right? From Keep It Weird with us today. We're really excited. Lauren, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hello. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on Spooky Tuesday. I'm Lauren. I also have a podcast called Keep It Weird that I like to record sometimes with my good old buddy Ashley Cassidy, and we just launched our 7th season. So go check it out if you want to. Yeah, and besides that, I am a mom, I'm a preschool teacher, and I sing in a band. So I sort of don't make any sense is what I like to tell people.
Cool. Sounds like you're a multi-talented Renaissance woman. I don't know.
You do all the cool things.
I do. What is that saying when you do everything but master of none? It is a little bit of that, but
Jack of all trades, but master of none.
Jack of all trades, but master of none. But I have fun doing it. So that's all that counts.
Your life's a variety show. That's great.
I know for sure. But I have to try and not mix up the, ghost stories and the true crime into the preschool curriculum. So I have to just, keep that in check.
I think little kids love to learn about aliens and horrific things. It's so important that they get it in early. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
So they can turn out like us. Perfectly normal, well-balanced women.
That's right. Who can do it all.
Exactly.
And that's actually funny because I have an almost 4-year-old son, and my husband, bless him, is basically Mr. Rogers reincarnated. Like he's just a sweet, wholesome, Disney loving man. And then
sweater collection.
Basically, yeah. I mean, he does have some good
incredible.
cardigans. And he's just like too good for this world. And somehow he ended up with me. But I kept hoping that my son would either be this perfect blend or kind of go to the spooky side. But sadly, he's turning out like his dad and is scared of everything. So he's a normie. So speaking of trying to teach them young, I have tried and I have failed. But you know what? I haven't given up yet. We're gonna keep going.
He's only 4. You've got time. Don't worry.
No,
I believe in
middle
you.
school.
If anyone can, it's you.
I hope so. I really hope so. So we'll see. But yeah, that's me. And I love horror movies, and I like talking about them and joking about them. So that's why I'm obsessed with you guys. I'm happy to be here.
Cool.
Cool. Well, Keep It Weird is one of my favorite podcasts, so I'm very excited to have you on today. But also, I think that because we've had you on the pod, you've awoken something in my home, because you guys do ghost shit on your podcast.
Yeah.
And I just had a little spooky experience right before we started the Zoom. I was sitting here in the chair, like ready. I was like, gotta make sure my makeup's perfect for Lauren. And then all of a sudden I could hear like trucks passing really loud. And I'm home alone right now. I have like my boyfriend and my roommate usually are here. No, just me and BB the dog. And I walked down the stairs and my front door was wide open. And I don't know how or why. And so I just cleared the house with this pair of pink scissors. I don't know where they are now. And was screaming like, if you're in here, I'll fucking kill you. And that's what I did moments before we started recording. Anyway, the house has been cleared though. We're good.
Okay, good. You cleared it. You had the scissors, but my goodness, has it never blown open before your door?
That is the second time it's happened in 2 weeks.
So it's a new entity has come into your home.
Also, my ring light has been turning on its own, and also only in the last 2 weeks. So I need you guys to fly out to LA, do an investigation.
It's the puppets. It's the puppets in your basement for sure.
No, okay.
You
Here's
have
the
puppets
thing.
in your basement?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
nobody
I
knows
was
how they got
telling-
there.
Okay, well, you're asking for it.
But yeah, there's these puppets in the basement. The listeners know about this. I texted my old neighbor. I was like, "Hey, you left all these puppets in our basement when you moved." And she was like, "Monica, I've never seen that shit in my life. That's horrible." And so I left them there. I never touched them. But you guys are actually right because they're doing massive like construction on my basement because we have foundational damage. And I don't know where the box of puppets is. It's
See.
not there in the
It's
corner
been
anymore.
disturbed.
I just
Oh, no.
realized this. Oh god,
God.
I'm gonna fucking die.
Tale
I'm
as
gonna
old
die.
as time. When you do the construction,
Wow.
yeah, they're coming for you. They're not feeling good.
Wow, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
text the head of construction right now and be like, "Hey, there was like a box of puppets. Like, any clue where those went off
Could
to?"
you like send those puppets back, please? Thank you. I need to keep track.
Wow. I guess Monica will no longer be with us at some point in the very near future. So,
my
guys, we will
God.
be
A little
looking
nervous.
to fill a spot as
Sydney
third
Chelsea
podcast.
There, yeah. If you and Ashley have more free time and want to guest while I'm dead, just let us know.
When you have vanished without a trace or are 6 feet under, I will hop in. Don't worry, I will cover.
Thank
It's
you
totally
so
fine.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Okay, but we're not doing a ghost investigation today, though I'm glad we've set the groundwork. We're actually celebrating my birthday. In case you didn't know, Lauren.
what? Today?
It's not today, but
It's
it'll
just her
be
birthday
like
episode.
4 days after this episode airs. On
Happy
the 31st.
birthday.
Thank you. I'm turning 30, and so I get to choose whatever I want. And it's been a long-standing joke on the pod that I am dying to do Cloverfield on the podcast. And so I get to do what I want on my birthday. It's my birthday. So we're doing Cloverfield, the 2008 instant classic. If you haven't heard of it, what's wrong with you? But this is the little IMDb log line just so you can, ease yourself in. A group of friends ventured deep into the streets of New York on a rescue mission during a rampaging monster attack. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Rescue mission.
straightforward.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But
I mean, they
this
are. Yeah. All right.
It is. It turns out to be that. But
Yes.
I've seen this movie a few times before. I love it so much, but I know some of y'all hadn't ever seen it before. So, first reactions, thoughts, feelings.
Ooh, who hadn't seen it?
We haven't.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
me and
what'd you
Sid.
think? Okay, now I'm so curious.
So I'd seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, and so I was getting them very confused. And I was like, is this the one with the dad from Roseanne? It was not, but it is the one with the hot guy from As Above, So Below, briefly.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fun.
I immediately clocked that. I
love
was like,
him.
ooh, hot guy.
Another found
love.
footage classic.
I was
I
gonna say one of my
know.
favorites, but also one that made me sleep with a nightlight on for so long after I watched it. It really creeped me out.
Oh,
But
no,
yes,
That's one of my
obsessed with
favorite
him.
movies ever. This movie, I will admit, made me motion sick.
Yeah.
It made a lot of people motion sick. When
I
it
got,
came
like,
out.
you were
They were
very
like
common.
warning people
I
before they went into the
am a-
theaters.
I am a little bitch. Like, I can't ride in the back seat of a car without wanting to die.
Yeah.
And this movie, I was like, oh my God. And I'm trying to work and like watch it and work and watch
It's
it. And
a
I'm like
lot.
going back and forth and it's moving. And I was just like,
Shouldn't been reading.
we shouldn't
Yeah,
have.
right. Never read while
Imagine
you're driving or
watching
watching
that.
Cloverfield. You can't.
Can you imagine watching Cloverfield with subtitles on? Chelsea, I know you always do
That's
that.
what
Did you
I
I
do
did
that?
watch it with subtitles
That's
on.
what I was
I'm
doing.
a
Did you
subtitle
throw up?
bitch. No, I have a really strong constitution, actually.
Oh,
Oh, good.
I
Just a
can't
little
hear without my
flex on my
subtitles.
end.
Okay.
No, I mean it
will-
was helpful too. I think there's so many like crumbling building sounds and such going on that I think there were a few moments where the subtitles were really clutch. But I just like usually I like to take notes, Lauren. But I felt with
I
the
do
found
too.
footage movie, the right approach was just like lights off, computer screen closed, just watching, letting it play at me, no pauses, except one time to get up and get water. And I thought that was the right strategy. It really helped immerse me in the film. It was definitely really fun for a first watch through. I didn't get a chance to do it a second time, but I went back and I watched certain moments just to be like, is this what I saw? Is this what happened?
Totally.
And I mean, it was fun. It helped that it was like 80 minutes total.
I know,
credits,
very
minutes
short.
at the end.
It's the perfect
Even
film.
shorter than a tight 90. Yeah.
It is.
Really
It's so short.
user friendly in that way.
Yeah.
And like the first 20 minutes is just a party scene.
They're just hanging out.
Like
Being goofy.
it's just a party
I
scene.
love it though. I
Yeah,
love the
what-
party scene.
Me too. I mean, that's what the reason I love this movie so much is because one, I talk for years about what they did with the monster. We'll get there. But like I
Mhm.
think it's like a really compelling, emotional story. And I choked up at the end.
Oh, I
I
love
felt
that for you. No,
But what did you
it's
think, Lauren?
okay. Yeah, I hadn't watched it in a long time. I saw it in theaters when it came out, like 2008, right? So I
Mhm.
was
Yeah, 2008.
like 18, 19. I remember seeing it in theaters and I was like, I have to see this because maybe we're going to talk about this, but the marketing for it was so genius and they sort of left us not knowing what was going on. And so I was like, I have to see this because I loved both horror and big action movies. And you could tell it was going to be a little of both. So I was so excited. I saw it twice in theaters. But what's hilarious about that is the motion sickness thing is I got super sick the first time. I didn't have to run out of the theater like some of the stories I saw on Reddit, but I was feeling a little queasy. Then I went back a second time. It was way worse for some reason the second time. So I don't know why I did that, but I just liked it that much. I wanted to see it and see if I could catch more details. And then I probably watched it once like streaming with Ashley, my partner, because we were talking over wine. And again, this is something we'll say later. I don't want to spoil it, but she was like, well, and you saw that one thing that happens at the very end of the movie at Coney Island. And I was like, pardon? So we had to rewatch
fuck.
that.
Already something I didn't notice. Okay.
See,
we'll get
so
there.
we had to watch it. We had to watch that together. And then this was the other time. So 4 times total. But what I learned is when I've watched it on a TV rather than a movie theater screen, I don't get queasy. I'm definitely annoyed at how much it's moving sometimes, but I could survive. And I still loved it. I think it holds up. I really liked it. Except for TJ Miller.
Oh, yeah, that's the part that
Well, yeah.
does not hold up at all. Thank God you don't have to look at his face really at all. You see him
Truly.
less than you see the monster. Ideal.
I forgot that you never
Ideal.
see him. I was like, oh no, this
just
is going to
hear
be
his
awkward. Oh
stupid
yeah.
voice.
He's just back there. What
Yeah.
sucks is I love his voice. I wish I didn't, but I hate the person like
wouldn't.
the voice. That's going to be my
I
say.
didn't know back then.
Valid.
but
I say that all the
Didn't know.
time. Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Don't you hear that on the streets? Yeah.
That's
See,
what
I
all the
feel
youths
like-
are saying nowadays.
Right.
I feel super bad because like all of y'all, well, except Chelsea, were experiencing nausea watching this movie, and I was so fucking mean in 2008 when I saw this movie in theaters about people who experienced nausea. I was like, what dumb little bitches can't see a fucking movie. And I'm so sorry because now I've met people that I really like and they've experienced a bad time.
Apologize.
And I'm so sorry that happened. to
Apologize
you,
right
but
now.
I
You are
can't
so
fucking-
rude.
I
This
can't
is what we
fucking
meant
relate
about
at
the
all.
confrontations, Lauren.
I
I
can't
know.
fucking relate
Gosh,
at
I
all
come
to you
here,
guys.
I get
Stand up
attacked
for
for my tummy.
yourself.
Listen,
Well,
I have
here's
some
the
tummy
thing.
issues.
I go
It's
on a
fine.
boat. I go on a boat and I'm fine. You hear that?
Okay, well,
that's how I knew I was gonna be fine.
Are you
Wow.
an
Wow,
ex?
brag.
That's
Boats
Good
are
it.
fine for me.
you.
I can get on a
That-
boat, not be seasick. Cars, ugh. This
that's
movie,
interesting.
ugh.
What about that one ride at Universal Studios where your legs go like this and the screen's going like that?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me either.
Harry
What?
Potter?
I had to sit down for 15 minutes.
Wait, are you talking about the Harry Potter ride?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, as that ride is amazing. So like don't get it twisted. It is one of the
But
most well done
nauseating.
rides in the world. But same. I got off the ride and my husband was like, let's immediately go back on again. And I was like, so I'm gonna go throw up in that trash can, but like
I
you
have
can
a
totally go."
concussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I've
my
I'm
also
brain
not
has
grown
well.
up in
been
Harry Potter
rattled
world,
around.
so it's something that happens to all of us one time in our life.
Common theme.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm a big found footage girly. As
Me
evidenced
too.
by how I watched this movie yesterday, and then I watched 3 more found footage movies immediately
Yes.
afterwards. This was the best of them, by the way.
Pop off, queen.
But what do you guys feel about found footage? I feel like it has to be really done well for it to be like worthwhile. And for me, this was it, but obviously not for everyone.
Found footage is one of my favorites as well. I mean Blair Witch changed my life, and they were obviously like the
Oh,
first to
yeah.
do it, and they were so different from Cloverfield in that it was so subtle and terrifying, and perfect in every way. But I thought
Mhm.
Cloverfield was so genius the way they did it, and actually thought the special effects looked so good for trying to make it handheld, but also like, hey, here's
Yeah.
some alien creatures. I thought it was really well done. But I know I gravitate towards found footage, even the ones that have now been made in kind of the new like Zoom era as we're doing right now.
Yes.
Have you seen some of the ones where they're online?
Yeah.
And like, I actually think
Chelsea
those
and
are
I
so
watched those.
creepy.
I also
I
loved
thought
Unfriended, the first Unfriended.
I know, me too. And I get made fun of for it. Listen, I know like there's
No,
parts of it
I
that are
liked
trash, but
it.
it's so good.
I watched
I
Unfriended on my computer, and so it was extra scary
That's the way
because I
to
was
do
like,
it. Yeah.
"Wow,
you're
it's
probably
it's
like, do
it's
I need to close
happening to
my
me."
browser? Yeah.
Really authentic stuff. But yeah, I like found footage. I don't know that I've seen a found footage movie where I was like, this should have just been normal. I think so far they are always doing like something fun with it. Could they
Mhm.
have done something like a little more elegant with it sometimes? For sure. Because I think when you do found footage, it's a really hard balance of like, how much do I show that feels reasonable to have captured on film versus
Totally.
feels like a little cheating to be like, come on, you even got
Mhm.
this moment, like. But the problem is, you want your audience to see things. Obviously, you want them to know what's going on. It's a hard balance to strike, but I thought this movie did a pretty good job.
Did.
No,
What I thought about this movie was that putting the camera in HUD's hands for 97% of it was a genius decision story
So
wise,
smart.
because I
Yes.
felt like he was exactly the character that would be like, no, we have to keep filming and preserve this for the apocalypse. Like,
Yes.
our experience is so important. We're deaf gonna get out, and everyone's gonna know what HUD was doing on this day, and I'm gonna have the video to show them. Like, I thought that
totally.
really made sense.
Well, and
Totally.
also because he just glommed on so quickly to the idea of being the documentarian at the party. Like he was jazzed. He was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna
I
do
have a
this." And
purpose. This is
yeah,
great.
wow, thank you for a job to do instead of terrorizing Marlena the whole time.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, poor thing.
but he still tried. So I think it made sense that like he was kind of like just like psychologically like holding on to the job that he had before things went to shit, and
Yeah.
and so that made sense to me too.
Yeah, I do think they helped it make sense because I feel like there's only I can't even think of which one it is, so the sentence is pointless, but one of the paranormal activity movies, if you guys are into those,
We haven't done any
which
yet, actually.
they can be cheesy, but I think they're so fun. But
Okay,
most of
no,
them
the
do
first
a good
one's
job
so
of like
good.
it's security cameras and things that make sense. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it was the no, not the third. I don't know. Maybe the second or the third movie. Again, I can't remember which one. There is one where the cameras make no sense and it was a little like you're
Yeah.
stretching, but that's really the only time I've thought that. And let me also clarify, I got over it real quick, even though I was like, you wouldn't have had a camera in this room for any reason. It was
Mhm.
scary and demonic enough that I still was
Yeah.
hiding behind my blanket and loved it. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I think
solid.
sometimes if you have a device that like works well enough, it doesn't matter if it really makes
Sure.
sense. Like in this
Totally.
movie, to me, it doesn't really make sense why it would keep skipping between the April 27th day and the May 22nd day unless HUD is sitting there fast forwarding a little bit on the tape before he continues to record.
Mhm.
But I like the spliced together footage enough and the story that that tells enough to be like, well, whatever, who
Yeah,
cares?
we'll go
Maybe
with
he
it.
hit a button. He is being thrust around and smashed into
He didn't
shit, so
know
I
what
think
he
that's
was doing.
believable. Yeah,
Sure.
he obviously is an amateur. But yeah, something I thought was really interesting when I was researching this movie, and I guess this will be a good starting pivot into the marketing. But before that, the director Matt Reeves, when he was first like conceptualizing this, the VFX people were like, we need to film this on a steady cam so we can do the effects that we want to do, and then we'll add the shake later. And Matt Reeves was like, hell fucking no. Our viewers are smarter than that. That's going to look like shit.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be believable at all. And so that's why it's such a hellish experience for y'all. Because they really did it. And apparently TJ Miller filmed like a third of this movie. Like actually
I saw
it was
that.
him.
I can't believe he actually did it. That amazed me. But I
know.
like
That's
that they made
wild.
it
I'm so
authentic.
curious. Sorry to interrupt. I'm so curious how, like, if there was any collaboration on that front. Like, did TJ Miller get with like the cinematographer and the director or whatever and be like, well, here's how TJ would film, and they're like, okay, but here's how we need you to shoot it. Like, I
I'm
want to
sure
know
they
what
gave him
went into like,
direction.
yeah, and like the moments that he wasn't filming, was it just the moments where he wasn't saying anything, or was he like perched on the cinematographer's shoulder, basically like piping things in? Like, I would love to know more about like the making of it and the behind the scenes, how they put it together in that way.
Same, because I'm now thinking back to the movie of, I wonder if his scenes that he filmed were ones that didn't have to focus too much on special effects or things where they would absolutely need somebody on his shoulder being like, and now. I wonder if it was, anytime they were hiding away in a corner or actually
I'm
at
sure all
the
the party
party, and
scenes. Yeah.
mostly the party. And then like, there's a few moments where they're just alone and people and kind of switching around. I could see that being authentic, but otherwise, like, get to the alien scene on your own. Come on. Then they're all
No,
the
I
little
feel
ones
you
that
got to
like
come in.
get the angle just right to show that crotch shot of the alien. Like, come on, you would never get that right.
they definitely gave TJ Miller some free reign for sure at the party, at least, because one of the reasons that they cast him, per IMDb trivia at least, was because he was a comedian and he does improv, and they wanted him to just like ad lib a little in those scenes so that the testimonials that he was getting from the other characters were more like authentic, because obviously the script was written, but he's kind of still like bouncing off of them a little bit to try and like make it feel in the moment. So I think a little bit he did that the whole time. That was kind of just like what his gig was, but
Right.
I'm sure, some of it you have to really nail down ahead of time.
Totally.
Well, okay, we brought up the marketing a little bit. I definitely want to talk about that before we get too into the meat and potatoes of the movie, because it's again another found footage movie that fucking slays it and did a really cool marketing thing. But what I thought was really weird was like how the trailer went, like how it came to pass, because basically J.J. Abrams is the producer of this movie, but he was super hands-on. Like, he was in Japan, he saw a bunch of good Godzilla shit, and he was like, I should make an American Godzilla movie. It's a great idea. But he got Paramount to buy the film without doing a press release on it, which was a big deal because JJ was all over the town in the early aughts, like he was a very popular guy. And apparently they were given a movie, like a trailer spot before the very first Transformers movie, a coveted spot. And they're
Can't
like,
believe that.
it's so funny. That movie did slap. I was
Oh no, I loved it. I'm saying I can't
was a
believe they were
Transformers
like,
slappy.
here, throw your trailer in. It's like, nothing. That is amazing.
Seriously, and they didn't have the movie like at all. Like, they had like part of it written. It was totally not put together at all, and so they just basically like filmed this stuff, and they knew that it had to have the Statue of Liberty head in it. And so it was just this tiny trailer, and it didn't even have the name of the movie, and it sparked this crazy like fascination with everyone who saw it, because they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
the
Grant, that's
speculation was
warranted.
insane. It made it so much more fun. Like, that was the hype. That's why I had to see it in theaters twice.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I have a notoriously shitty memory, very bad. But I
Same.
have this memory of being like front row in a movie theater, and I was with Aline, one of my best friends, and she like went to the bathroom during the trailers, and I was alone, and I was really close to the front of the movie theater, and this trailer played, and I'm pretty sure it was the Cloverfield trailer. I'm remembering it as that, but I could be wrong. And it scared the fucking shit out of me, and I was terrified as all hell. it would make sense if I was seeing Transformers with a lean also, now I think about it. So now I'm convinced it was it was the Cloverfield trailer. And I was the most scared I've ever been in a movie theater. And I was dead set on seeing it after that because I was way too close to the screen. Terrifying. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, and they did so much really interesting, like tiny stuff leading up to this movie that was like really great for creating hype, but also kind of was a letdown to some of the fans when the movie actually came out because they created like crazy lore. Like, did anybody else read about this? Like, they had these little they had a MySpace profile.
I was gonna say, I saw that they've created MySpace
character.
profiles.
Oh, dear
Every
Lord.
character. And they
Ev-
are so detailed and amazing with photos and bios and everything. It is so genius because people were starting to question, like, I mean, this isn't real. So like what's happening? It was so good.
Yeah.
There is a ton of stuff that they did for like even really tiny little background characters too. Like there's one moment at the party where you see a girl like passed out on the couch. And apparently she's one half of a couple that had like a bunch of video blogs and stuff on a website. And then one of them they mentioned like, oh, Lily's throwing this party we're going to later. She's like wearing the same outfit, like had planned it in advance or whatever.
So
They
smart.
had like 12 vlogs that they done for this couple. I'm not even sure that the other half of the couple made it into the final cut. Like, I think they're just wandering around the party at some point and you see one of them pass out. That's literally all of you get of them in the film. But they built out the backstories so much just
So
to try and be like,
crazy.
these are real people. You're going to watch their real story.
Right.
Yeah, and there's this whole thing, and there's more info now because they have the subsequent Cloverfield movies, and I've only seen 10 Cloverfield Lane. I haven't seen Paradox,
Same.
and so if we can avoid spoiling it for me, that would be awesome. But if we have to, I'll close my ears and I'll close my eyes. But yeah, like there's apparently like there's this mention of this company that starts with a T, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a Japanese company,
Oh,
and
right.
they are somehow like partly behind how this monster is created. So there's some sort of thing that I saw, and there's a bunch of references in the in our show notes if you want to see this stuff too. But there's like an article for like a missing person, and it was like a brother being like my brother works for this company, and then no one's heard from him, and the CIA was calling me and to get information, but I didn't have any, and so then they won't tell me anything now, and I just want to find my brother, but I just know he was working for this company and blah 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 blah. And it's like tiny little shit like that. And so people like thought this was going to be this like sci-fi epic, which it totally is in its own right, but it
Yeah.
doesn't give you fucking anything. It's
No.
not about that. It's not about the world. And that's why it's like great to expand the universe with these sequels or whatever. But yeah, it's so bizarre that they just were like, psych, we're not gonna do anything with that actually.
Everything we just told you about, forget it. Just enjoy this little 85-minute running around film.
In
Um,
Did
my
a lot of
head,
world building.
in my head, this is like a prequel to Pacific Rim.
I was just talking about Pacific Rim with somebody yesterday.
I love Pacific Rim. 10
I
out
do
of 10,
too.
one of my
Slaps.
favorite movies.
It is.
But I was
really
like,
good.
monster that comes from the ocean, check.
Yep.
Weird, creepy like thing. Apparently the monster is a juvenile,
Mhm.
and it's
This
like
monster or that monster?
the monster Clover.
This monster in Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Oh.
Clover the monster is a
Clover
bebe.
is little infant who's
Supposed
just
to be an
scared,
innocent
and that's
looking
why.
for his mother or sibling. Like he just got startled.
He
and
was
then
woken up
decided to
from his
destroy a
nap,
city.
okay, and threw a
Mhm.
tantrum. And honestly, we have all been there.
Yep. That's right.
Really relatable. Really relatable
It's
stuff.
super relatable. Ugh. But yeah, okay. I mean, that's the marketing pretty much. But like the meat and potatoes of the movie, we already talked about how this movie starts with a party scene. But at the
Wow.
center of this movie is a love story. And we almost did this movie for Romance Month back in February because it's pretty compelling. I told you I cried and I have great taste. But yeah, it starts out with this like cute little home video of the main character. If I only knew anyone's
Rob and
name.
Beth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Good old
yes.
Rob and Beth having a romantic
Rob and
weekend in
Beth.
her parents' awesome New York apartment.
Yeah, that's a sick
It is an awesome apartment.
I know
That's
it
a
is. I was
really
like, I
sick
would
apartment.
kill to live there.
And
That scene was so romantic. It was, and we'll get into this later, but I don't love the romance further on in the movie, but we're gonna save it because you had emotions
It
and I don't want to
feels
immediately
very
kick you down.
classic
It's all right.
man, though.
it's so well, okay, I think it's a stupid like love story because they're friends forever, you find out later on. And then they have sex, and this video is from the morning after, and they have this romantic date. And then fast forward 1 month later, we're at this party for Rob going away, and it's just, and he finds out that he's moving to Japan. So why did what about her feelings?
But what about her? You must stay. Also, that's such a fun tie-in back to the marketing, though. He's moving to Japan and he is supposedly working for that company
Is
that we
it?
can't
Oh, I was
pronounce. And like
hoping.
the T one, and then also Slusho, which I don't know if you guys saw in the
Yeah, I
background. There's
saw
a
that.
soda called Slusho that this Japanese company supposedly makes. And there were so many fake ads for Slusho that came out during the marketing for this movie, which was very smart. But I think he's gonna do something for Slusho if you like really are paying attention to the details,
Vice
which I was
president of
not. But
Japanese marketing,
I
maybe.
know.
So funny.
So I thought that was like a fun callback
Yeah,
that he's like, yeah, going to Japan. But
I need to watch it again and look out for Slusho because I saw all the Slusho stuff and I was like, cool. I missed this 100%. But it kind of reminds me they're doing something a little bit similar for Beau is Afraid. The new Ari Aster A24 movie that comes out later
Mhm.
this year. There in the trailer, there's all of this like logo stuff for some company. It's on like everything that Joaquin Phoenix has. And there's like a Instagram account for that brand and stuff. And I haven't done any research since 2 months ago when I found out about this. So maybe there's more stuff. But anyway, we love a little tie-in.
yes, that is so fun. It's great.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna be the king of Slusho. That's good for him. But at
He
what
set it over
cost?
for a great job.
What
Okay,
about
but
Beth?
our man who we all love from As Above, So Below, or if anyone watches Superstore, he's on that.
Oh,
He's on Drop
yeah.
Dead Diva, Fred the Angel.
Oh my
Shout
gosh,
out.
it was Fred the Angel. Oh,
That's a good show.
I'm so happy you brought that up. I feel like I was the only one who watched that show. I would tell people about Drop Dead Diva, and they're like, I've never even heard of that.
No,
Like,
it's
well,
fun.
you don't know good television.
I also have never even heard of that, but I love
Well,
you
it's,
guys for
you know
having
what?
this
It's fine.
moment.
He was also on Silicon Valley, so that is the tie-in with TJ Miller, which again, I know struggle bus for
Ooh.
him, but he was also on that show. But I love him. He was such a small part in this movie, but I felt so bad for him because I feel like was just a pawn in this love
Don't feel
story.
bad for him.
Yeah.
IMDb trivia said he left the party, drove home to his house in Weehawken, and remained there for the rest of the film.
Yes,
Oh,
he was
great.
safe.
He's great. He survived.
He was totally
Thank
safe.
God.
I just didn't know if he thought Beth was in love with him and how misled he was in this situation. That's why I feel
Well,
bad.
even
but
if he did,
Why
I
the fuck-
think he'll get over it.
He
He's got the
won, yeah.
time.
he survived, so that's fine.
Wow, what a move. What a
know.
move.
Also, maybe that's her cousin. I mean, we don't know.
That's true.
I don't think
yeah.
it would be that. I don't think that Rob would be
Classic,
that
bring your
mad
cousin
about.
to make your ex jealous.
Oh my god,
Yeah, like,
they're
just
like
say you're my friend.
27. Oh my god. But yeah, okay. Their whole thing is so messy, but I still was
It is.
compelled. Whatever. Sorry. One thing I do have to say, if we find out later on that this love story isn't going to pan out anyway, but Lily and Jason never would have made it. That was some toxic shit. That shit was
Yeah.
so toxic. That Jason is the brother and Lily is the girlfriend of the brother. And
Uh-huh.
they have
But she
they're
thinks
a-
of Rob like a brother herself.
I know.
Like, she
she's
is his
super
sister.
sweet. But Jason
I feel like she's saying that, and Jason was like, "What?" Yeah,
I
Jason
know.
had a bad tune.
I did not like his vibe. And she threw the whole party together to the point that even when Rob first walked in and they all yelled surprise, he was like, I know this was Lily. Cause he's like, my bullshit brother never would have done this for me.
And he had
Like,
one job and he gave it to HUD.
Truly, he passed it off. Yeah, Lily was a sweet angel and then offered to go with Rob, on the hunts during the movie. It's like
Yeah,
she was too good for him.
she's
But
too
sorry
good.
to Jason, who
Also,
didn't
I
know
just
what to.
have to say
R.I.P.
this,
Jason.
Yeah.
played by Jessica Lucas. She's the girly from The Covenant. Chelsea and
Mm-hmm.
Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
girly.
We love her.
Did you remember
the
her as being from
girly who
Cloverfield
they
when we
give
did
no
The Covenant?
personality to in The Covenant?
Yeah, I was
Sorry,
glad to
my
see her have
internet
more
cut
to
out.
do
What did you say?
this time around. I was wondering, I feel like, did you bring up that she was in Cloverfield when we did The Covenant? I feel like you must have mentioned
Well,
it
if
at
I
the time.
did, I forgot because I was shocked just minutes ago when I looked it up on IMDb.
Like, where'd you come from?
But I love a movie that gives you like a long lead up. Wait, hold on one second. Is my internet being weird?
You are
It's not
getting
now, but it
slightly
was a moment ago.
glitchy, but yeah, it hasn't been this
Yeah,
whole time.
I just saw myself like phase out and I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay. All right. Hopefully it's okay now. Anyway, I love a movie that has a like long lead in before the action starts because it kind of makes you all the more anxious. If you know what you're getting into. Think about if you had gone to see Cloverfield and you didn't know what you were getting into. Oh, what a
Yes.
thought. You would
I
be
feel like with
barfing
the
and you'd be
posters,
so
though.
scared. You'd be barfing so much. You thought it was a rom-com.
The posters show literally a beheaded Statue of Liberty. I feel
I
like
know.
that's got to give you some idea
They
as you
thought it
walk
was
into
a
the theater.
metaphor.
Our
Losing
love
your
is
head for love in the New York City, in the Big Apple.
our
I
love
do
can
remember, like,
behead
kind
the
of-
Statue of Liberty.
I was
Mhm.
forgetting what the movie was about, to be honest, though. So it is funny that, like, I saw those posters, I saw the trailers, I knew I was in for an epic, but then the moment I'm pulled into that party, I was like, so what's gonna happen? And
Oh
then
my God, the
suddenly something
gossip.
explodes in the background, and I think I flew out of my
Mhm.
seat. But yeah, they did great.
Seriously.
For a
Yeah.
moment there, you're just like the human element. Wow, all these relationships.
I know.
Tell
It's
me
actually funny that you
more.
guys keep saying we love a long lead in because it is long and it's all we needed, to be honest. But one of my like biggest gripes with it, watching it now, which I think it's because now I'm so addicted to reality TV and I was not when I was 18 and saw this movie, I wanted more scandal. When I was watching it this time around, I was like, I thought way more happened before the first explosion. I need to know, like, where did Beth go? I need a phone call. I wanted a little bit more drama. So I can't lie.
Forgot it was this dramatic. I was like, Hud, you literal piece of shit. You're gonna go tell everyone they fucked?
You told the whole
immediately?
Oh my
party.
God.
You are a terrible friend. Oh
Oh,
my
Okay.
God.
But also, I
needed
would do that.
though.
No, no, Sydney, no.
I needed that though because they seemed so coupley to me in the April 27th video that I thought for sure that I must have like missed the dates or something, and that had been from a year earlier when they were in a serious relationship and now they're broken
Mhm.
up and she's bringing her new boyfriend to say goodbye. I very much needed the clarification and needed them to really hammer it home as he told 48 different people. So
Yep. No, I do think that's true to show people like nobody knew about this. We needed to be in on that secret because I wondered if like had they been together? Was this just a thing? Were they having an affair? Like I
yeah.
didn't know.
I think the reason that they seem so coupley is because they have been best friends for so long. So it's just like they were just waiting for it to happen. Shed
I
one tear.
know.
But yeah, when it finally starts to go down, it's so good. It's just like the earthquake out of nowhere that you hear a weird fucking animal like kind of sound. It was actually just like that sound. Weirdly.
That was
actually
the most
that
perfect
was
impression
an
I've
incredible
ever heard.
impression. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you
That
so
was
much. I'm
stunning.
thinking of getting into voiceover work, so I really appreciate your support at this time.
Just send that in as your reel. Like you don't need to add anything else. That's your reel.
Perfect. Sydney, please send me the full video clip.
I will. Don't worry.
But yeah, I don't know. Just as soon as they introduced the monster, I was just so impressed by the way that they integrate the camera into everything, like filming the everyone looking at the TV to find out what the fuck happened. Like everybody would go up to the roof to try to figure out what's going on. Not a great
Yeah.
idea in the midst of an earthquake. Actually, I mean, when you're a building that high, what's going to happen? You go to the ground, you'll get smashed by a building. You go up top,
Yeah.
you're on the top of the building when it
Doesn't
smashes
feel like
down.
you can win.
But I didn't think about the 9/11 of it all. We always bring up 9/11.
Yes.
We have to as
Yes.
Americans. Um, but yeah, that would be the first thing. All these articles were like, and the first thing they were probably thinking about was terrorism and 9/11. But it's actually a giant alien guy.
Alien creature.
Well,
Yeah.
even when they're like running up the stairwell at some point, someone is like, "Do you think it's a terrorist attack?" Like,
Yeah.
it's very evident, like in the characters' minds, not just in you as the audience. Although, I mean, I didn't see this when I was younger. I'm like, thank God I didn't see it when I was younger. But when I was older, maybe around the 20th anniversary or whatever, I started to see the footage people had like filmed in their apartments on 9/11.
Yeah.
When they were like realizing something was happening. And like, it's definitely the same vibes that they captured, where it's just like, what's going on? Like, you can tell it is something huge and you don't know what. And it's so hard to even like conceptualize what it could be.
Yeah.
Totally. I think that makes the buy-in even more believable because like all these people just went through 9/11 like 7 years before.
Right.
So they've seen all the footage, they've seen how it was helpful to have that footage to find out what went on. So I think that would make them even more prone to try to document it because the city had gone through trauma so recently.
That's
You
very
know?
true. They wanted to try and capture it the way other people had, but yeah, there's some shots that I thought the same thing, Chelsea, because I feel like as some of the footage has come out now of 9/11, people are watching from their apartment windows, and you like in some just see the buildings fall, and it's so disturbing and crazy, and you can't believe they were just witnessing that normally. And there are a couple of shots where the ways the building falls feels very much like those shots that we saw in the footage. So
Totally.
I feel like they were trying to parallel it a little bit, and they knew that this was still a fresh fear, and they capitalized in a great way. It worked. I was terrified, but it's wild.
Yeah, like when the Empire State
Controversial
Building goes
question.
down.
Uh-oh.
Do we think that the people of 9/11 thought that it was an alien attack the way that these people thought it was a
I'm
terrorist
sure
attack?
some people did. I probably would have gone there first before the
Right?
reality.
I feel like in my
Yeah.
brain would be like aliens. It's aliens. What else could it be?
Yeah, right. I could see that, and I could see myself believing that. Absolutely.
We're all prone to that sort of type of
It's
thinking.
I
always
mean,
aliens.
we're a specific
We're
subset of the
primed.
population
We're
that is prone to go,
primed.
is it an alien? I
It's
think,
always
yeah.
aliens. Yeah.
Especially after one of the episodes of Keep It Weird that I listened to was, I think, Ashley and her husband talking about alien stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it was scary and fascinating after there were those like reports a few years ago of like an aerial, what do they call it in Nope?
Phenomenon?
A UAV,
Yeah.
or something
It
like
just
that.
changed. Yeah.
Where it was like
UAP.
our laws of physics meant that something shouldn't have been able to drop and move the way that
Yep.
things we had
Can't go in that
observed had
motion.
dropped and moved. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's
Crazy,
terrifying.
crazy stuff out there, guys.
True.
World bigger than us for sure. But I don't know. This movie is wild because I mean, earthquake. You know, that's never your first assumption when you're in New York. I think. Although they had an earthquake in like 2011 in more the DC area, if you guys will recall, because it was like the day that I
I
was
don't.
flying to move into college,
Oh.
but I saw the plane.
Okay, I was like, I don't recall that. Sorry,
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
have the
either.
seismograph for New York area.
But yeah, I mean, even if it was just an earthquake, and we as Californians or people who lived in California at least for a while, I'll kind of know how to behave in such a thing. Like you're taught in schools what to do. But people in New York, I imagine, would not have that knowledge. They're just like trying to figure things out, and they're like, "Where's a high point where we can go to observe things?" Oh no, now we're seeing more things blow up. This, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was so interesting to see the way that the characters were immediately trying to like problem solve to some degree, the way shit was immediately hitting the fan. They were like, do we try and get out of Manhattan? Do we try to go to Midtown? Like, what do we do? Where can we go? They're on an island, you know what I mean? Which is one of the really interesting parts about setting it in Manhattan.
Have you guys seen Escape from New York?
Yes.
No, but apparently there were
You
lots of like
should.
parallels
Yeah.
here.
So many
You
nods
should.
to that, which was great.
Totally. Yeah. I need to watch it again. Like watching it, I was like, oh, Escape from New York next. But then I watched
Yes.
3 found footage movies instead.
No, that's fine too.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh God, when you see the projectiles coming towards them, I mean, it's just so moment after moment, so terrifying. When the fucking head of the Statue of Liberty flies down the
Mhm.
goddamn street, I mean, lucky
It's
for HUD to be on the street with all the action, honestly.
Of course, capturing it. Well, and if you notice, everybody has like their digital cameras and is filming it. And that's part of the reason that I enjoyed watching it and seeing that it still holds up, because we are always called out. The newer generations are like, oh, you put everything on TikTok, you're recording everything on your phone. But people forget that in 2007, 2008, in the age of MySpace and all of that, and digital cameras, and then posting your entire album of going out and
Yes.
getting drunk in college on Facebook in the early days of that, it's like that's when it was born. And now we're just way worse because it's easier in the palm of our hand.
Totally.
But
I
I
miss
loved
those
that it
days.
was showing that and trying to showcase it a little bit of like, oh, the old YouTube just started up and all these kids are going to upload their videos from their digital camera. And it was kind of a commentary on that as well, of like, nothing can just be. We all have to get the photo, get the video, and upload it as soon as we can to make it a spectacle. So, yeah.
No, totally.
But also, they
damn
showed some really
right.
cool cell phones, because we don't get fun designs like that anymore in cell phone world.
Yes. I was like, is
I
that the
miss the old
chocolate?
phones. Mhm.
There's some weird
Bring
shit.
back the Motorola Razr. Yeah.
I was gonna say I had a Razor, and then I had a Crazer, which was like the smaller one, and I miss them. I miss them a lot. They were great.
I
T9
still
word.
have my
to text.
razor. It's
I
in my
could never
bedside table.
T9.
It is complicated.
Like, you could never go back to T9, or you could never figure it out at the time.
I could never do it. I was like, eh. But
So you
I
just
just
press the
all
button like
gibberish.
I
think
like
That's where
this.
all the
I-
acronyms and stuff came from, because of T9, and everybody was like, I'm not typing all this out. That's gonna take forever.
D2G.
I wasn't allowed to have text messaging until like 10th grade, and everybody would be like, I keep trying to text you, and I'm like, bitch, that does not go through my phone. My parents know
You
better.
have to AIM me.
And then by
Yes,
the
get on
time
in.
I like got my phone, I had like the knockoff BlackBerry, so I had a full keyboard phone.
Full keyboard. Oh my god.
Full
Get a little
keyboard.
Palm Pilot.
No,
Oh.
it was like a black square with like keys. It was on singular.
And the rolly
so-
ball, and you had BBM. Girl, I know
No, that was
Black-
BlackBerry. That was
Oh,
BlackBerry.
what did you say? What did you have?
She had
A
a blueberry.
knockoff BlackBerry.
She had a blueberry. It was a total
Ah,
knockoff.
yes, the blueberry.
The blue-
She had the
Blueberry.
raspberry. It might have had a stylus like a Palm Pilot. I don't know.
I love
That's
it.
so funny.
But yeah, I love that they also show like how each character is like going through something so different as they're reacting to this. Because like poor fucking Lizzie Kaplan. Wait,
Oh
can I
my
just
God.
say? I was
Oh.
gonna say I love her. I love her so much. I love her. She's so
I'm
beautiful.
obsessed with her and everything that she's done. And that
I
was actually
know.
funny watching it back, is forgetting that, she's not like the biggest part in the movie. Because to me, I'm like, she is a star.
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean, she is.
she
you
is.
say it's a
But yeah, she
star.
was done dirty. I did feel so bad for her. But I felt like she was always trying to be slightly rational. And even HUD, as annoying as he is, was trying to be more rational. And I do have to say, I know the love story is special, and I don't want to shit on the love
Yeah.
of Rob and Beth, but I was so annoyed that after Rob's sweet brother Jason, I don't know if that's too spoilery to say, you can
No,
cut it
it's
out
good.
if not.
Please.
After he was gone, it felt like Lily, his girlfriend, was, really upset and reacting in a normal way, but Rob was so immediately like, well, where's Beth? My brother was cool and all, but I need to go find this girl. It just seemed
Right.
like he did not give a shit about his brother and only wanted to get to Beth. And that is when I started to get annoyed with their love story of like, really, was
Okay,
Coney
fair.
Island that great? I don't know if I'm into you guys.
I
Yeah.
kind of okay. I mean, spoilers for
We're in it. We're in it now.
Yeah, we're in it.
Jason
Also,
The
the
whole
movie
died.
came out in
thing-
2008, so just see it, please.
Yeah. It to me was so classic male behavior to be like, oh, in an emergency, of course I will do anything for you. I will travel through monster-ridden Manhattan to get to Midtown to get to you. I will walk up and back down 40 flights of stairs But no, I will not call you after we slept together because it would be
Right.
too uncomfortable to have this conversation about how I'm leaving. I'm simply just going to ghost. And now I'm going to feel so bad about it now that we're all dying that I'm going to go way too far trying to compensate.
There's something about the end of the world that really puts things in perspective.
I am so
Okay.
sure that's true. I'm so sure that's true. What if you had called 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, no, fair. I agree with you.
And that's why men are garbage.
Amen.
It's like what drove me crazy is he's like, well, I'm going to Japan. What was I supposed to do? But like we see it in the video of them at the end, like she
Meditate?
knows he's going to Japan. She said something in that Ferris wheel video about him going to Japan. It's not news to her.
Right.
If they had wanted to collaborate on this issue, they could have, but he cut her out of the conversation.
He didn't allow her to have a say at all and just said, I'm leaving and this is what it is.
Pathetic.
And she was clearly upset about it. And that's why little old Travis came to the party with her.
And then he was
is
mad that she brought her cousin Travis because I've decided now.
I love that. He's cousin Travis from here on out.
That was your little bit of scandal in the beginning, though, because after they talk privately in the hall, and then she comes back in to leave with Travis, he's like, "Good luck with her tonight."
Good
And has this kind of like mean, dirty, rude, bad attitude little retort for him.
I know.
Boo. Boo.
Ridiculous.
I know we moved past Jason's death, but I liked it a lot. So I just want to
Yeah.
say that
Circle back.
I did too. It was a good
circle
one.
back. At first, I was like really impressed by the speed and agility with which the National Guard responded to this crisis. I was like, wow, they have a plan. They're walking everyone across the bridge. I mean, that's kind of your only option because you're on an island. But I just love. It has to be this way. Because the movie is about the people in this movie. But that tentacle arm goes right down, just right onto Jason, like specifically onto Jason.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
it's so annoying.
And thank you for saying that because my husband, he had seen it way back in the day. And then this was only his second viewing. He sat down and watched it with me, even though he didn't plan on it. He can just so easily get sucked into movies. He was walking by and then just sat like with his laundry.
It
But-
draws you in like that, yeah.
I know. Joe's like, see, it's a good movie. But after Jason's death, which was very clearly a death, so thank you for saying that. Maybe like
Yes.
10 minutes later, when they were all talking about him being gone, he's like, well, let's not jump to conclusions. We don't know if Jason's
Girly
dead. And I
pop.
was like, honey,
Do we?
the way that tentacle slammed on the bridge, like he gone.
It
Don't
went
be shot here.
directly, like he was standing up higher, so you saw it hit him physically. Like
Mhm.
it's over.
He's
you don't
out of
survive
here.
that.
Which it was a very cool shot. Again, I loved that. And it was surprising and it was exciting. And yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
man.
Jason.
Sorry, Jason. I will. Okay, Rob is an idiot, but it was smart for him to get a phone, though. I thought he was
Yes.
just looting for fun, but it was. I was like, let's not be like that.
He got a battery. He grabbed like a bunch of them.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
Because his battery was
responsible in
dying on
that
his phone.
Yep, that was good.
And I thought that was a cool scene too, because obviously I think that it is always fun and silly when people loot TVs in an emergency. Because I feel like absolutely shoot your shot. It's an emergency, things are gonna be covered by insurance. Like, you know,
This is our
whatever.
All
time.
gonna die. Who cares?
If you're going to die, why not do it with a giant flat screen? But I just liked that scene too because we got like more of the exposition with the news on TV. We got like more of the character moments a little bit. I thought in those moments where they were like resting a little, really were the moments that allowed you to have like a better idea of like what are these people actually about and like what their deal is. And I thought it was great every time that they would just do like something different than out on the street too and still show you how everything is affected, like when they went into the bodega at first,
Yeah.
and then you saw like the cloud of like dust and debris like subsume the whole street. Like I thought that was a great shot. I thought that was really cool.
That was
was
another
really cool.
moment where I was like, if they survive the monster, they all have lung cancer from the asbestos that
Yeah.
they just
A
inhaled.
lot
I
of
was like,
things were blowing in.
yeah,
rough.
that was very
I know.
bad. And poor Marlena,
man.
she was right in the midst of it, and then
She was-
everybody's.
Mhm.
She already looks like a ghost, and she turns around and she's like, "It was eating people." Oh,
What was
You
that
could just
about, by
see
the way?
Pure terror.
she saw it eat somebody, I guess.
Well, we see at
That's
the end that like it chomps on Hud a little, but doesn't seem to eat him. And so I'm wondering,
Frozen
was
milk.
it just like a shock response? Like, did she see? Was it eating people,
I think it was
or
eating
did
people.
it's just like chomping a little bit because it's you know how
I
like
don't-
it's like sharks
I don't
explore
know
with
if
their
she
mouths.
had enough time to know for sure, but she was like, it picked up a guy, and it went munch munch. He's gone now. He's dead. He's a
Yeah, to
little.
me, it felt like she really saw something. Like just the look on her face, the
Yeah.
way she came back in, it felt like she really saw something. I do agree the monster kind of picked up Hud and swung it around, threw him back. But I think the way she came back to the group, like, you don't know what I've just been through. I think she saw it consuming.
I think you
consuming
walked
people.
right down that street.
Mhm. Yep.
She saw it go, I'm walking here, pick up a pedestrian,
I'm
dangle it
walking
above its
here.
mouth, drop it in its mouth.
Precisely.
Ah,
Precisely.
Just a delicacy, those people. Oh, yeah. Poor Lizzie Kaplan. I feel like that can be the theme of this episode because that was
Well,
awful. And then
poor Lizzie
she gets
Kaplan
the worst
also.
bite.
Yes, and she didn't even know what movie she was signing on for as an actress. They told her it was like a
Yes.
rom-com when she
I
auditioned.
saw that. She had no idea what she was auditioning for when she went in for the audition. They were just like, read this random script that is sort of in the vein of what we're looking for. And she read it. And then they were like, yep, you got it. She didn't know what she was entering into, which is fascinating. I love it.
Which is kind of fun if it's a pleasant surprise to you. But she
pleasant.
was like, this was a lot more physical of a role than I anticipated taking. And in the future, I don't think I will be accepting roles that I don't know anything about. Because
She was
you
just
know,
like,
she's
I like Lost, so this must be pretty good because the writer
Exactly.
wrote on
Alias,
Lost and
yeah.
Alias.
I mean, they must have like talked more about the party scenes and stuff too. And then she has to beat off giant spider creatures.
I love
Parasite.
that you
Whacking
used
things
the
with a
phrase
bat,
beat off.
sprinting.
My gosh. Yeah. That was
Nobody
awful.
would have taken it there but you. Nobody else is thinking
Funny.
that.
Well, I really liked when they got forced into the subway. Talk about using New
Mhm.
York as a character, unlike Scream.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, we
I was
just did
like,
that last
man, should we
episode.
just like talk for an hour after this episode about Scream? But
Oh, yeah,
also,
yeah.
Afterwards, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We just did our Scream episode and we were like, not enough New York, but this had quite enough of New York.
No, I love that too. Just using the city and like the subways go underground, and it's like not a bad idea, and they're kind of on the right
Yeah.
path. And then lo and behold, little
And then the
spider
rats
demons
down there.
The rat, yeah,
Oh,
just
you
all of it.
always-
And
The
then
night vision on the camera, I thought that was really brilliant use of the camera at that
I
point
thought so
of like
too.
using the canonical tools that the characters have at their expense. And was really cool for the audience too, to like, okay, we have the flashlight on here we can turn on. We can start with that. We see the rats, and
It's a
then
nice camera.
using the night vision to like see the spiders like slowly start creeping in. Ugh, it was so good when they like emerged from the darkness.
Well, and I usually Ashley and I both on the podcast all the time shit on CGI and how we love practical effects, but this was a use of CGI that I actually thought looked so good, especially when you're doing found footage and especially when it's 2007 when they were making this movie. And
Yeah.
I would have totally forgiven them if the quality had been crap, but again, that was the time my husband turned to me and was like, wow, that looks pretty good. Like, I believe that these spiders are jumping on them right now. And I agree. I thought it looked
Yeah.
They
great.
tried to use puppets. They did try to do practical effects.
At least
in
they
that
gave it
scene.
the attempt, and I can also respect that.
Apparently, the puppets looked pretty goofy.
Exactly.
And did not allow for the movement that they needed. But the rats were real. Well, IMDb trivia said that those rats were the best in the biz. Those are the Pirates of the Caribbean rats. I don't know what that means because I don't
Ooh.
remember a
Of course
rat scene
there's
from
rats
Pirates
on a
of the
boat,
Caribbean,
so
but
that
I'm sure
doesn't
there was
surprise me
one.
that they were.
I'm
No,
sure there
they're
are.
just
I don't.
chilling.
But yeah, I mean, it literally says, quote, best
And
rats in
that
the
is
business.
clear.
So
Well, also New York City will have the
Yep.
best rats in the biz because they just
They run
thrive
that
there.
town.
They drag
Mhm.
pieces of pizza into the subway. They're just doing it all.
Always watch the rats. Follow the rats. If the rats are running away,
smart.
you should run away too.
Yeah.
Like the rats are hardcore. They are
they
afraid
were
of no
freaking
shit.
out. And I was like, no, you guys need to start running and follow those rats
Absolutely.
immediately.
Yep.
Those rats know what the deal is. They
Yeah.
have animal instinct.
We learned that in Titanic. They told us follow the rats. They
100%.
know.
Follow the rats.
I
Big
I
part,
love though
yes. I know.
Oh
but
my
then,
God.
yeah, poor
Oh, I
Lizzie.
love that those
She got
things are
attacked.
fucking fleas on the monster. That's what they are. They're fleas. I thought they were babies. I've always thought they were babies
Oh
or
my
something. They
God.
had some weird thing where it spawned
I
babies
did
out of its
too.
spine. No, it's just a monster so big that
No,
it's a baby. Think about
I
that.
know,
It's a
it's a
baby. And then it
baby.
has
It's a
these nasty
baby.
babies on it. No,
It's
it's
a baby,
got
it's got
lice or
lice.
like fucking space lice. I don't know.
Ugh.
Classic toddler at daycare, am I
Exactly.
right?
They're all
Oh
getting
my
it.
gosh,
Lauren,
the
you tell
people who
us.
come into preschool with lice and all kinds of germs. Yeah, that's how it felt. This little alien baby in New York was just shedding all of its lice onto the city, and they were the
They're
little
like
gremlins.
they're worse.
They were so much
Exactly. They're
worse.
worse than the big guy because as long as you
were.
can get far enough away, you'll
Cutthroat.
be okay. But they bite you
Yeah.
and then you explode.
And then
Which
you
was
fucking
wild.
explode. Oh, also, I love that scene. The shock value because I'm the idiot that saw it and was like, "Ooh, her bites are pretty bad. She's going to turn into the alien."
You never know.
What? That doesn't make
that
any
has
sense.
happened
I
before.
thought that's what the bites would mean when I saw it in 2008, but you just explode.
explode alien
fine.
style. Like, oh my God. It's so I think that the way that they handled her demise was so good too, just because like they go into that spooky mall, amazing. Immediately
Mhm.
all the cops are not cops, army are there, and we get that one army guy who becomes very important to the plot. Love him. And
Oh yeah.
the second
Thank
that like
God.
they realize she's been bitten, they already know what the fuck happens, and so they're like quarantine,
Yep.
and man, she just explodes. She
I know. It was like they had no time. I remember again, it's like just not knowing what was about to happen, thinking that the medical team's reaction to her was so extreme because they immediately started screaming. But then, as you said, we find out immediately why because they know she has barely any time to get through. But also, I felt like I know they couldn't do too much because the
yeah
city is being destroyed, but I felt like there was no urgency about her wounds, which again makes me question Rob as a person. I felt like he was looking at her like, yeah, just put this towel on it and I have some
Yeah.
Aquafina I can pour on it. I was like, she has gaping wounds that should be
yeah
stitched and she's bleeding from her eyeballs. I
oh
need
my
you to
God,
like
when they
get a
turn
move
to
on,
her and
sir.
the blood is coming out of her eyes, like, oh my God, I love
I know.
we love a tasteful
Poor
eye
That
bleed.
said, they're pretty blasé. They're pretty blasé about a lot of injuries in this movie. I
Yes.
mean, like Beth was fully impaled on rebar. And
Impaled.
at no point do we see her even like bloody, really.
Mm-mm.
They just kind of yank her off, and then
Let's go.
everybody's good to go
If you
and
keep
keep
the
running after
thingy,
that. Like, what are you gonna do with shock and an
sometimes if you keep
emergency?
the
I
thingy
guess,
in, it
yeah.
staunches the blood. Just saying, that's a thing.
But they didn't
No,
keep
I
the
know,
thingy
but
in.
no,
They
but that's what
yanked
I'm
her
saying.
off it.
That's why she wasn't dead yet, because she was still on
Mm.
the thingy. You see what I'm saying?
But then how was she
Sure.
able to
The
move so
adrenaline.
quickly
Thingy.
after that?
Love.
My God.
The
Well,
spirit
yeah,
of
again,
love.
bringing it back to Scream, you can be stabbed 1,000 times and live. So we'll see.
This is the love that Jay-Z specifically referenced in his verse of Kanye West's song on Monster.
Love.
Love.
I don't get enough of it.
There you go.
Well, okay, vampires and bloodsuckers. I mean,
Love.
you don't know what that flea does. That space flea. It could be doing
Exactly.
that. But yeah, I mean, the most far-fetched part of the movie for me is probably when that army guy is like, if you come to this place, we'll make sure you get out of the city on this helicopter. I'm like, no, they
Yes.
wouldn't do that. But that's nice in this. I love to believe that could happen.
Yes, it was a very friendly, sweet moment from that man. But on what planet would he walk up to these people he's never met and been like, you show up at this time, I'll get you on that helicopter? No, those are
Yeah.
coveted seats.
What about
You
like
owe
your
them nothing.
coworkers?
You were not.
They had so many extras. They had a lot of extra helicopters. I'm really not sure why you guys are so
in
worried.
the middle of the end
They
of the
had
world, they
open
had
seats aplenty.
scores of copters.
Scores of
So
copters
many.
getting out of there. But yet the monster was able to reach up and grab the one specific copter.
I know.
Bring it back
knew.
I
down.
know. Yeah.
I know.
I know.
Our poor friends.
That That said, at least Lily
That's what I was gonna
presumably gets
ask.
away. I mean, I think she gets
I
away.
think
Yeah.
she's fine.
I
Thank
think that's what
God.
we're
I went
led
back to
believe.
That's
check.
great. So one of our people survives,
Yeah.
and she's the goodest of them all because she made a great birthday party,
She is.
and she put up with a lot of bullshit from Jason, and she deserves her happy ending. So
She
I'm
did.
happy for her. But God, I just think that the final bit of this movie like is just so heart-wrenching because like of course they can't get away. I mean, not
It
of
is.
course, a lot of movies they get away. But I
Mm-hmm.
just the fucking like 3D jump scare of like them shooting the absolute shit out of our baby alien boy, and then it's completely dusty and he comes out of fucking nowhere. It reminds me of this scare from one of my favorite sci-fi channel original movies, Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, where there is a mega shark who's like, I don't know, like the size of the world. He's fucking huge, and there's this guy looking out a plane window and he's like, what is that? And Mega Shark like launches out of the sea all the way to plane height and eats the plane. It's very, I think that was probably the inspiration. I don't know which one came out first though. I'm gonna do a quick Google.
Yeah, I was like, look it up. Who copied who? Yeah, out of nowhere. I remember thinking, like, okay, they've gotten this far. Like, this is where we're set up for the sequel. They got out of New York, but then, something's going to happen. Then, no, ripped back to Earth. It was a good,
but okay,
good
we haven't
surprise.
talked about this nearly at all. But like the reason that I brought this movie up on the pod trillion times in the past is not because of the contentious love story, as we found. It is because of what they did with the monster in this movie and how they do and don't show it. So this movie is a monster movie. It's a Godzilla style monster movie, King Kong, that kind of a thing. But you only see that bad boy for 2 minutes and 37 seconds throughout the course of the film, which is actually like kind of a lot more time than you think when you think the movie's only an hour and 25 minutes, but still it's not that much time. And they did a lot of work to make like a realistic-esque type monster. Like it was based entirely out of like real life animals as the inspiration. And I have it. Yeah, so the monster lovingly referred to as Clover wanted to make sure that there were
Sweet
things that you could
Clover.
recognize in the natural world when you looked at this monster, when you finally got to see its face. So Matt Reeves got this British artist involved named Neville Page, and I think that's a badass name, and he needs to be name dropped because I think he did a really good job. And so the whole time that I've watched this movie, I've been like, the monster looks like a bat, and that's so exciting for me because I love bats. Well, I was wrong. That was not what they were going for.
Oh,
I was so sure.
I totally see
I
why you
told
think
it to so many
bat.
people. I'm like, yeah, they
Yes.
based it off of a bat. No, okay. I just thought I knew. No, no, that was not it. It's no bat,
no
not
bat
not one
whatsoever.
bat. None of the keywords are bat. Which like
Man.
Neville, have you looked at a bat? Because think about it. But its face and its
Yeah,
mouth and its teeth
similarities.
are meant to resemble a piranha or an anglerfish. I can totally see that. It has this like really weird fucked up jaw. And
it's
Yeah.
like bulbous, pulsing little
those
gonna
were
say
flesh
it
sides
has
of the
mucus.
head.
things on the sides of its face. This is my homage,
Those
by the way.
are mucus membranes
love.
actually, and those are supposed to be like frogs and toads because they have that instead of ears. And that's
They
what I
do
thought
have
was the bat ears
yeah.
thing, because there are bats that have little like pinkish looking ear things that look fleshy like that, but they don't pulsate in the way that this monster. I'm accidentally doing the Mrs. White hand motions right now.
Please.
Flames. But yeah, and the other thing was, oh yeah, so it's talking about the fleas. I'm reading from an article that is linked in the show notes. Hold on. But yeah, like it said, this was supposed to be like a lost toddler gone berserk. This animal is the baby. This alien is the baby, and there's a big one out there. And so they're trying to like model the psychology of the creature based off of like that of rampaging elephants. So like when elephants go on a rampage, remember that elephant that like
interesting.
hated that lady and then he went and he ruined her town and he killed her?
Who murdered the lady and then went to
Yeah.
her funeral and
Yeah,
stomped on her
that
again.
kind
Yes,
of
I remember that
anger.
elephant because that was
Grudge.
How could we
Yeah, that kind
forget?
of ice cold energy. That's
Never be over
why. That's actually why he reached out and grabbed the one helicopter that had our protagonist in it because he was just like, I got a
Mhm.
really stinky, nasty vibe from you. You didn't treat Beth right when you could have. Slam.
It's just like something wasn't right. Ooh, don't, especially this HUD guy.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
just
there's
like
some
throw him
rancid
around. Let's do
vibes.
it.
Yeah.
He knew.
Anybody that willingly goes by the name HUD,
I know.
rancid.
Yeah, we should.
I know.
Sure.
He also
Not
his
great.
skin
HUD.
tone was elephant based, in case you wanted to know. And this, yeah,
Oh, he's
yeah,
very like
I see
gray.
that
Yeah.
totally. He's like you know, a more substantial look than an anglerfish. You know, doesn't look that quite like that.
Mhm.
And then the one other thing that I thought was really cool and reminded me of Nope a little bit, was that like to really like land the idea that the animal is acting out of fear. It gave him like spooked horse eyes, which like I wouldn't necessarily recognize, but I love that that's what they were thinking of. Good for them.
I know.
Yeah,
It's so
that was
smart.
kind of one of my questions when I watched this film was like, I know that there's a tendency in monster movies to be like, this is an attack. But I'm always kind of like, especially after Nope, I'm always kind of like, is this just a wild animal in an unfamiliar location that's now being attacked? Like,
Yes.
is this malicious? Is this something that has intent? Or is this something that's just like
Yeah,
freaking out?
I loved
Totally.
that.
Which is why it was fun to watch this after seeing Nope now, because again, it's like I've watched it so spread out through life and I've just accepted it for what it is and being this movie that I love. But after watching Nope and the commentary on that and the animals being like, we're not supposed to be doing these things that you're saying, and we are going to attack you if we're scared. I was seeing this in a totally different light of this creature was dropped into the city looking for mama, scared as hell, and like, of course, are going to
Yeah.
react in this way. So I did like that. I like the spook.
It's a lot for a little guy.
I know.
Well, I think a
poor
lot
Honey.
of
Where's the
I
little
think a lot
guy?
of monster movies, at least nowadays, like take that angle. It's like I watched one of the King Kong movies that came out recently. Can't tell you which one. It might have had
Mhm.
Millie Bobby Brown. It might not have. I have a terrible memory. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But like with that one, they really
Interesting.
humanize the giant gorilla. But they're like he's been mistreated and so he's angry and that's why he's acting this way, you know. And so I you know, it's just an animal being an animal. This is why you shouldn't keep wildcats. Bringing it back to Tiger King.
Wildcats. Bringing it back to High School Musical.
We're all in this
Oh, beautiful.
together. Yep.
Uh-oh. You guys, we've been usurped as best
There's like a
singer of the pod because we have a professional singer on the pod right now.
Lauren.
Okay, not professional.
Wow,
I sing in a
not
cover
fair.
band at
More
Dive
Not
Bar,
professional
so
than we
fair.
are.
Oh my God, she came into our podcast. She started singing.
Well, hopefully I won't show
How could you do
Adam
this?
The Wildcats
the
get me
arbiter
amped
of truth when it comes to singer of the pod this episode, so he won't be able to weigh in.
That one
Oh, yeah.
reviewer.
What did
That
a reviewer
Chelsea was
say?
the singer of the pod.
They decided I was the singer of the pod.
I'm obsessed with
Which is
that.
rude.
They said it was
Can't
me,
speak ill
actually.
of any of our listeners, but if you want to DM me and talk about it, whoever you are.
I told Monica
Ooh.
she could be the one that they were talking about if she wanted to let me be the M. Night Shyamalan expert, but she
Well,
said
it's
no.
just not true. It's just not
So-
true. You wouldn't think I would be the expert on him though, because I
Then
can't say
guess
his name right.
I just am
ever.
the singer.
You're the singer.
Beautiful.
I love that.
It's really beautiful.
It's me.
But yeah, I don't know. Though just the whole last bit of this movie where you finally get to see the monster, because I think that with a monster that's destroying an entire city, you know, you have a lot of expectations, but like everybody has their own thing that scares them the most. Like apparently for me, it's a bat, and that's why I thought it looked like a bat. This is actually probably a worse nightmare scenario for our friend Cooper, because his worst nightmare animal is an anglerfish, and I now need to show him Cloverfield
Anglerfish.
and see if he freaks out.
I
Be
get
like, do
that.
you
I
think this
that's
looks
why
like an
this
anglerfish?
movie scares
Yes or
me.
no?
Yes. Are you terrified? I hate everything in the ocean, especially anglerfish, because they are the way down deep,
Weird
really
shit happens there.
creepies. And so I think that's why this monster terrified me so much. But I totally get what you're saying with the bat, because I feel like the head had bat-like qualities, but also the way like
Oh,
the limbs would move through the street reminded me of like what you see in
yeah.
their wing. So
Okay,
Do you
I,
know what
yeah,
it
I'm
really
questioning
looked
everything.
like? This is going to be a little dated by the time this episode comes out, but there's this viral clip that's been going around recently of this sort of I don't know, actually I haven't researched. I don't know if they're a street performer or what their deal is, but they dress up like this
Oh, I love that
creature.
The
thing.
little
And the little
Yes.
girl loves it.
I know what you mean.
And then they went back to meet the little girl and give her
Yep.
a little plushie of the creature. It looks like the
Yeah, it
creature,
walks
kind
the
does.
same
of.
way.
It
Oh,
does.
okay. You got to put a link to that in
Yeah,
the references too. I saw that on Reels because I'm not on
Okay, I'll
TikTok
hunt it
right
down.
now. So elder
Oh,
millennial
you're
of
one of
me. I
those.
didn't like
she
it.
is.
She's so
So
behind the
boomer,
trends
but I
now.
still saw that, and so
What's
I still
really
know.
sad is I'm slowly realizing I might be older than you guys. So that is really sad. I'm on TikTok. Maybe I shouldn't
We're
be.
within the same age range.
But even so, why am
It's
I on TikTok? It's
it's
now
fun.
showing me
No,
For
I
maybe
just
I
fun.
should
deleted it
take a
because I
My
step.
was obsessed.
63-year-old father is king of TikTok.
Who?
My 63-year-old father, king of TikTok. He sends
No
me
way.
TikToks at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, why are you awake? But also thank you for knowing that I am awake and this is exactly what I want to watch right now.
That is so cute. I
You are
love that he's
never
on
too
it.
old for TikTok.
It's true. I wish I could be on it, but I have no self-control. And so
State of
that's a
mind.
me problem, not a you problem. Don't take this onto yourself. You're fine.
Girl, do you
Yeah.
think that I get any sleep at night? No, I scroll TikTok until it's 5 a.m. and then I have to get up and teach children, and I'm not healthy. So I don't have
That
self
sounds
control.
bad.
Listen, that's what
Just love
God
it.
intended, I guess.
No,
You know?
I just love TikTok. It just gets me. The algorithm gets
It's
me.
beautiful.
Anyway,
But yeah, I mean, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but I just think it's really like amazing that you don't actually see this bad boy's true face until the very end, and you see little bits. You see actually a
Yes.
little bit more than I remembered, because I harp on this all the time, like that you don't see the
I
monster,
agree.
you don't see the monster, but you do. You see it in a blink and you missed it type of thing. When you watched it in theaters, you couldn't pause and rewind and be like, wow, you really can see a lot. So I
Right.
don't know. I just think that was really brilliant in a monster movie because so often a monster movie is like showing King Kong throw a train through a house, or I don't know, that doesn't happen. I don't know, I said that, but like you like showing King Kong's
Probably
face.
does.
I can
Maybe he'll do
imagine
that
it
in the next
though.
one. Who knows? Seeing Godzilla eat the top of the Chrysler Building. I don't know, but like this is really. He's hungry,
Hungry
and he's in New
boy.
York now. Apparently, he's left. He's
Just
left
he needs
Asia
a
and he's
meal.
come here.
His mom's not feeding him.
But yeah, and I also like this movie
Oh.
too because a lot of fucking people die. They don't tell you numbers, but everybody is fucking dying all the time. Scores and scores of people. In
Mhm.
the unknown Godzilla movie that I watched, I'm pretty sure it was Godzilla versus Kong, whatever that one was, the one that just came out like 4 years ago. Just 4 years ago. There was this part where like Godzilla
Not see
or
that.
King Kong, one of them destroys like a huge area, like massive destruction. And the news host afterward was like, 25 people died. And I was like, only 25 people died?
25?
There's no way that's true.
Everything.
The infrastructure was very soundly built.
So this felt more realistic to me. I'm like, everybody on that bridge is dead. They don't even have a second of hope for Jason.
Yes.
It's over.
1000%. That is so funny. Well, did you guys see the theory that some people think there were two monsters?
Ooh.
I saw that people expected there to be multiple monsters and that there were lots of theories ahead of time and like biblical theories about like one by land, one by sea, one by air, etc.
For sure.
But there are theories after people saw the movie itself.
Yes, but born out
Okay.
of those. So it's like I don't know how much like we should believe them. And even J.J. Abrams in every interview has been like, no, it is the one monster, I promise you. But it was interesting to read about. And also, this ties into what you've just been saying of how we kind of get to look into the monster's face very briefly at the end. But then we also saw the tentacle on the bridge, and people are a little like, I don't know, things look different. But what I read online, a Reddit thread that has just gone bananas about this movie, of course, as things do on Reddit. We're saying
I
that
love Reddit.
it is believed that there is a duo theory because we've heard the talk that there is a parent or a sibling of the original monster who Abrams has admitted was a baby. They come to New York in order to find their kin. So the duo theory has some weight because in the bridge scene before Jason dies, HUD records the collapsing of the bridge, but a fleshy object is moving behind the bridge, and this is believed to maybe be the monster's mother. We just kind of see this little shadow. Could the monster's tail really have caused the collapse, or was there something else hanging out behind it? The theory also points out the monster who eats HUD looks way different from the original Cloverfield monster. The original monster has 2 front teeth that protrude from its upper jaw, which are visible even when the jaw is shut, and the monster that eats HUD has teeth protruding from the lower jaw,
Ooh.
anglerfish. So people are pointing out that they have seen 2 different versions of the creature, and also that they don't believe the creature that killed HUD would have been able to do what happened on the bridge. They think it might have been a protective mama. So that's the theory.
Ooh, I like that.
Which I'm like,
Interesting.
listen, it might not be true, but I was like, I can't
Yeah.
argue with the points that you made. They're
I
fair.
like
I
it.
like
So-
it.
There's so much
It's
interesting
fun.
lore with
I
this.
know.
Before we get into our segments,
It
just
is
one
fun.
little quick thing. We have sequels to this movie, but they're non-traditional ones. One sequel that they were going to do though was something in the very same vein as what this movie is. There's a point on the bridge where HUD has the camera and he turns around and he films someone else filming him. And so the idea was like, this is just one perspective of this night, though they're kind of in the center of the action. But if there's 2 monsters, then there's a whole nother perspective of what was going on. You know, I was like, what are they
Yep.
going to see that this crew didn't see? Because this crew saw like the army fight him and the
Saw a
other
lot.
thing and like the underground
Yeah.
tunnel. But they're underground for a while, so who knows? Who knows? But
I do like that though, the thought
Yeah.
of seeing the other
I
perspectives.
think that would have
that'd
been
be
a
fun.
really, really good sequel. And I would have been open to it just because I'm more of the same. Yes, I love this. But they've done stuff that's
Yeah.
really different.
I think they should do like a 2-hour documentary of Ben Feldman and Weehawken watching TV reports about what's going on in Manhattan. And he's just going, wow, that's so scary for the whole time.
It's just him and his mug of coffee. Oh no.
Just, oh my God, I'm so glad I got
Whoa.
out. Yeah.
Damn.
Although apparently there were 85 oh my gods or oh gods in this 85-minute film. So there is like a 1 to 1 minute ratio
Fair.
there.
I mean, what
which
else
is
are you
fun.
gonna say?
Yeah, you gotta have it.
Oh fuck!
You're
oh
shocked.
shit!
That's
you know,
so real.
It's. I don't think it was. Was it
Yeah,
R?
yeah,
They only.
I
Can
don't
get
think they
one
can get that many
fucking-
fucks in there. Yeah.
No. not even.
But something I
Gotta have
didn't
your one.
know, and Adam told me this, and he looked it up. So if he's wrong, then you have to come find Adam and fight him, because I didn't fact check him, because I trust my partner.
Okay.
He said that 10 Cloverfield
Mm.
Lane and also Cloverfield Paradox, which are in the Cloververse, which I love that is the name. It is also dumb. Were full-fledged movies, and then they were like, oh, we could put this in the Cloververse, and then they wrote it in. So they already had the scripts
I
for
read
both
that
of
as well.
those, and then they're like, let's shoehorn it in and make it part of it. And
Let's try and connect
Trolls
it.
2 but elevate it.
yeah, kind
Mhm,
of. Yeah.
mhm.
10 Cloverfield Lane at least is really really good from what I remember. Cloverfield Paradox, I never saw.
But it's so different, and it's so funny that they're connected. But then the paradox, I do kind of want to see it, because the more I read about it, it's showing that it's trying
Yeah.
to connect the universes of this.
It
So
looks
I
like
don't
it's
know
gonna get
if-
really
if it does a good job of it.
from what I started to read, and then I was like, no spoilers. It looks like multiverse, blah blah blah, something not really, something like that, something with space time, something with that
Yeah.
company in Japan being bad.
It all connects to them.
I think it's like
That's right.
Taragon or something,
There's
Taraguado,
something like that.
something.
I think there's definitely a lot of room for additional lore, though. I mean, I haven't
Mhm.
seen 10 Cloverfield
Let's watch
Lane
it
or the
together. It's got our
Paradox
girl.
one or anything. I've only seen this one. Okay. And I only just saw this one. And I didn't even notice the bit at the end that Lauren referenced earlier. You dropped a little hint in the beginning of this episode. And so I went back to be like, what was Lauren talking about? And I watched those last few minutes at some point while we were recording. And when they were on the Ferris wheel at the end, I thought like, oh, it's so sweet. There's just a few minutes left on the tape after they died where they're revealing their I love you. And it's a sweet little ending moment. I thought it was just totally in the background when they're filming the ocean. You see something like fly out of some sort of projectile or something fly out of the sky and land in the ocean. So if this is a creature that came out of the deep that was disturbed from some crevasse like HUD speculates, it is easy to imagine that 1 month earlier, whatever went into the ocean there was what disturbed it originally.
Could be coming alive.
Started the ball rolling, if you will.
And then that has spawned into like all of these other theories, which is so much fun because some people are saying that was another alien coming to get little baby and wake them up. Other people are saying it's the Japanese company's satellite dropping into the water on accident and disturbing it. And then that's going to be a whole scandal. Everybody has all these thoughts about what could have been happening, but it was a very intentional drop into the ocean, bringing this monster to life that I never saw in theaters. And then Ashley Cassidy again so casually mentioned it, and that was why I did a rewatch a couple of years ago, and she said, oh, that last scene when we see, you know, how the monster came to be.
I need to rewatch.
What?
Stop the episode.
So
I have to go watch this right now. I'm kidding. I won't. But oh my God.
I know. I'm like, everybody, if you're listening to this, stop and go watch. It's honestly, I had to watch it 3 times through. Even when Ashley showed it to me the first time, I was like, nope, missed it. It's so quick.
Okay, well, that makes
you
me
just have
feel
to
a little bit
look
better.
to the
Thanks for saying
horizon.
that. So I feel a little better about myself because I'm usually good at noticing little things like that. I failed for my own fame.
I literally never would have noticed if you hadn't said something in the beginning of this episode. Like literally watched those last few minutes right before we recorded just to check something else. Didn't notice a single thing.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I went, oh, there's something there. Oh, something about the Ferris wheel scene? Okay, let me see.
Maybe this is going to change your mind on how romantic the movie is, because you thought that last shot was just like Coney Island, but really
It can be both.
it was an awakening.
It could be such a nice day.
It can be both.
It can be both. That is true. That is
Los
fair.
Dos.
That is true and fair. Volcano Las Dos. I say that all the time and no one ever knows what I'm referencing. Like one of the best commercials I've ever seen. Volcano Las Dos.
It's a classic.
You can have soft and crunchy tacos, you know.
We need that at all times. Okay, well, I just want to say that I also thought it was really sad when he was like, look at me, I love you. And then she's like, I love you. And then they fucking die in a hailstorm of rocks and they're pelted to death.
Was really
sad.
sad.
I'm a sucker, okay? I'm a softie. I'm an Aries, but I'm also Cancer moon.
I also thought, romance aside though, I really liked that part of this scene because I loved how it mirrored the beginning. Like you had the opening and closing of the Ferris wheel day where he says in the beginning, like, it's 6:42 and it's already a good day. And then at the end, in the last few minutes, he's like, do you have anything else you want to say? And she was like, it was a good day. But in that scene, right before they're hit with the rubble and that explosion in Central Park, when they're under the bridge, they're filming and he's like, it's 6:42, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the same time. I just thought that was a cool little callback to put you back in that moment right before the end.
That bookend of so happy and then about to die put together. It was really good.
It's horrible, but I love a movie where everybody dies at the end and it's like this like wrapped up into a pretty bow thing.
Except for
Lily.
Thank God.
We're fine with Lily. Yeah. We do like her.
She did so much for everybody else. She deserved to get out.
She did. She was the selfless one. And also, I just love her because we're talking about the horror movie she was in. We didn't even mention she was in the new Evil Dead, which I thought she was very fun in. And also, maybe nobody else likes this movie, but she was in She's the Man with Amanda Bynes.
Yes.
She was Yvonne. That's how Amanda would
Yvonne.
say her name. Yvonne. So I also loved her in that. So Jessica Lucas, we're a big fan, and I'm happy you live.
And I like The Resident. So
oh my God, I forgot she's in that show. And that's what's his face from Gilmore Girls. Right?
Gilmore Girls.
Logan. I hate Logan Huntsberger, but okay, fine.
I hate him and love
He's
him.
like
the
really
Secret Society
unwatchable
is so
almost
cool.
for a few episodes of it, but then it's okay.
Okay, no spoilers. Okay, well,
Fair.
it's time for us to move on to our segments. It's happening, Lauren. It's
I'm so
happening.
excited
So the
about
first question that we
this.
always ask is, how could this movie be gayer? I open the floor to y'all.
Okay, I think instead of Rob and Beth, it could have been Rob and hot guy instead. I think he would have been more compelling as
Hot
a
guy
love
from As
interest.
Above, So Below.
And then it would have been like,
I was like, who's
Yeah.
the hot guy? There's
And then
kind
they'd
of
be
like
like,
a
Ben
few
Feldman?
hot guys in
Yeah.
this.
And
Yeah,
what
but
a
it
fun
would be-
twist.
right? Because then it'd be like, did you know that Rob and hot guy had sex? And like he'd be telling everybody at the party, and they'd be like, no, they didn't. They'd be like,
Wait,
yes,
okay,
they
but
did.
what if it was
Oh, I
this
like
angle
it.
on the same thing? The same thing happened. The girl, Beth, they still had sex, blah, 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 blah. But Rob is a bisexual man. And she's like, you brought that guy I hooked up with to my party. And I haven't confronted my sexuality yet. So this is
Ah.
twofold intense for me right now. And there could have been that. So yeah.
How could you do this
It's like,
to me?
And then Hud goes around and he's like, can you believe Rob fucked both those people? Yeah.
Oh,
That could have been
I love.
that could
Yeah.
have been Hud's
Hud
rumor.
fucked both of
I like
them.
that.
That could have been the reality TV
Did you see
scandal
that
you were
hot
looking for,
guy with
Lauren.
Beth?
See, I was
He
gonna
fucked
say,
him.
You guys are speaking my language. This is the drama that I needed in the beginning. I actually had a similar thought, except I went for the ladies. I thought it would be really cool if Lily and Marlena, they were just known as best friends, and Lily was the one who invited her there. She kept saying over and over, like, I really don't know Rob.
Yes.
Like, I feel weird that I'm even at his going away party. But she was like, I'm Lily's friend. And part of me wondered, like, what this could be gayer if they had had a past together, and not even that that's scandalous. I just kind of liked that idea that there
Yes.
was there was tension there, and then after Jason dies in the movie, it would be an interesting moment when Marlena walks over and comforts her, and like they have a very intimate hug, and it's like, listen, even though I always wanted you, I know you're hurting right now because your boyfriend died. I thought of this dramatic moment, so that was my
Okay, well,
that's my
that's
gay drama.
beautiful.
The homoerotic tension of a fraught female
See,
friendship.
you were saying that,
Yeah.
and I,
Mhm.
I was like,
We've all been
you were saying that,
there.
and I was like, yeah, we didn't need Jason. He doesn't even have to be in the movie. That's so we could just live.
Yeah, also just like fuck Jason, maybe they should be together.
But we do need someone to die
always
early
gotten
on, and us to be
by-
like, oh, we did know who that was.
We do. I know. And he was the handsome man that had to go by Tentacle. It was totally him. But I also, the reason that popped into my head was Lizzie Kaplan has always given
Yes.
me bi energy, but it sounds like she is just
No.
straight. Like she has only dated men
She
as
hasn't
far
met
as I
me
know.
yet.
But she just has like that
devastating.
queen amazing energy that I love. And so it was more like my dream that I thought it should happen. It seems fitting.
No, you're so right. She gives gay. It's
Yeah.
not just the Janice Ian of it all. It's her. You see that haircut? Come on.
Ugh,
You're telling me that's a straight woman?
I
I don't buy it.
know. How
Yeah.
else could it
Chelsea,
be
do you
gayer?
have
I
any
mean,
ideas?
what could the monster do?
I think the monster could be gay. I think that probably that was what was happening and we just didn't know about it. We're not privy to the monster's inner thoughts or monologue. You know what I mean? Maybe in one of the sequels, we'll find out more about their species and the way that gender sexuality works for them. There could be some rich inner lore there for
Maybe
sure.
the way that it
Mhm.
works is though it is youthful, it is in a polyam relationship with all those fleas. And that's why it was so mad because
Oh.
they killed a lot of those fleas and they were like, that's my guy, that's my girl, that's my they, them, that's my everyone that I love.
Oh, it's my they,
That's
them,
my
that's my
They,
polyjewel.
That was my 100
That was my 100
lovers that
little
just
tiny
poured out,
lovers who
yeah.
give me little kisses on my back all day. And you killed them, and now you must die. And that's why they hunted down specifically that helicopter.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Wow.
No one does
Yeah.
for good reason.
Or what if the second perspective from the bridge is going to be the other monster, which everyone on Reddit thinks is the mother? What if it's the lover? And the second perspective is going to be like the lover was looking for his boyfriend. No, I guess we confirmed it was an infant, so that'd be weird. Never mind, it's out. That theory's
We
out.
don't know the rate of maturity of their species.
Yeah, maybe you can have a lover in infancy. I don't know.
I mean, people have boyfriends in kindergarten.
Yeah,
It's
but
true,
yeah,
it's
I
true, it's
think
true.
the idea of the central romance being queer would have been a lot more compelling. For me, I would want it to be lesbians because that's what I would want.
I agree.
But I think also like if you have that element of like not necessarily ready to confront your sexuality or what this means to you, that you slept with your best friend after so long, you wanted them for so long, or maybe you didn't realize you wanted them for so long. I think that's a much more compelling narrative
Then
to
I'm just
Ghost.
a baby bitch who can't say my feelings.
You can still have, yeah. You can still have I'm going to Japan and so it's like one more reason I'm just not prepared to get into this. But that's something I'm a lot more willing to forgive than a man who does not know how to communicate. And I would have rooted for them a lot more, and I would have wanted that reunion a lot more, and I would have understood more why everyone else was so willing to go to the ends of the earth to make it happen, because they realize like it's this huge thing. That I mean, like, it's very nice of them to go to the ends of the earth to try to save their friend anyway. Kudos to all of them, because they really fucking when I keep wanting to call her Kate because that was her name in the Covenant. But when Lily takes off her shoes, high heels, she's been marching around in high heels this whole time, and then goes up the 40 flights of stairs. That's insane to me. There's no way I would make it up that many flights of stairs.
At the flights of stairs.
Yeah, that's like, I'll wait down here for you.
Spooky tunnels of the subway system filled with like polymer sleeves.
That was
the
fine.
spooky tunnels of the subway system is like, what else are you gonna do? You're already down there, you know what I mean? But she voluntarily went up the building, jumped to another building, essentially helped carry a wounded person back down 9, like that
was
that
so
is
insane.
a lot.
I'm really glad they
stairs.
cut that
Oh my
part
God.
so I didn't have to watch them just go down all those stairs.
Going downstairs.
When they were like, we're at 37th floor right now, I think just a little bit more, I was like, oh my God, how are you not taking so many breaks? Like, I would not make this 6 a.m. pickup time for the helicopter. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, any other gay thoughts?
But yeah, that's how I would make it gayer.
It doesn't have to be about the movie. If you just want to express yourself right now, just open the floor. No? Okay, we can move on. So where would our boy Matthew Lillard, known on the pod as Maddie Lily, Lauren, where would he be in this film? Who could we swap out and put him in for?
This was hard. When you presented this to me, I was like, Matthew Lillard is my boy. Like, this will be easy, but I don't like any of the characters enough for him. I think he is too good.
Fair. That's fair.
For any of it. Which, okay.
I think
no, go ahead.
There's a lot of on the street filming. I think we could have gotten a pivotal moment of him like running by or something, and then had being like, was that Matthew Lillard? I think that would have added a lot to the movie. Just an IRL cameo from Maddie Lily.
Oh, I like that. I didn't know cameo was an option. Then absolutely throw him in those streets.
We're in New York. Celebrities are in New York. If we're putting Maddie Lily in the film, I don't know what they're throwing in Sephora and stuff like that to ground it in our real world. Why not a little celebrity? Maddie Lily lives in California, but I'm sure he travels for work sometimes.
Well, where did you have him, Lauren?
They had a lot of Mountain Dew spots, and so they could have had Matthew Lillard drinking Mountain Dew, and I think that could have been great.
A little Slusho commercial.
Little Slusho.
Wow.
Okay, mine kind of comes with a caveat. So I could see him, just the way that he played Stu Macher so well in the first Scream, kind of that goofy, obviously psychopath, but the goofy class clown psychopath. That energy could have been better for HUD. However, I would want him to be seen because I want to see that sweet face. So that was my caveat. Was that like I want to hear his voice, and I think he could bring that fun and that improv to the part of HUD. However, it would need to be more flipping the camera and like saying things and then flipping back to the friends if I am gonna have my dream come true with Matthew Lillard. That's my
fair. In this world, you can have it all.
I don't know why. I want him to be Rob. I just let him have like
main character.
Main character energy. We see him the most on film, and I would like that. And then I want to play Beth.
And then all of it's fine, and we forgive him.
If he's Rob, obviously. Well, that romance I'm so invested in.
I would support that 1,000%. I'm here
Oh
for
my
that.
god, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think those are really good spots, but I also think he could just be a guy at the party, and he could be one of the
Totally.
really fun cameo guys.
He could be Matthew Lillard at the
They-
party too.
He happened to be friends
Maybe
with
as the new
Matthew
face of
Lillard.
Slusho, he's worked a lot with Vice President of Slusho Marketing, Rob, and so he's there at the party to send him off.
He's just
That's right. They could have totally interacted
And he does a
at
little
the ad shoot.
testimonial.
Yep.
That's like, Rob, it's been great working with you so far. Best of luck in Japan.
perfect. Writes
Oh
itself.
My
my
next
gosh, this
film,
is
that goes
perfect.
out to you, buddy.
It is really perfect. I like that a lot.
Okay, that brings us to who the hell is the dumb bitch in this movie? A lot of options.
I feel like Rob,
That's who
I feel like if he communicated from the beginning with Beth, they would have been together at the party. They would have gotten out at one of the opportunities they had to get out before the helicopter escape, which they were
Mhm.
only at because they had to go back to Midtown to her apartment.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I just want to give it to HUD because of context. But also he is really obnoxious in this movie as well. And he won't leave Marlena alone, and I don't like him. But also, I mean, honestly, it's like all the men in this. Jason also pissed me off.
Yeah, Jason's also
Jason
being a dumb
also
bitch
has
for
a
sure.
wonderful woman, and he doesn't respect her. And for that, you get hit with a tentacle.
I agree. I
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the dumb bitch is Rob. It's so funny because I took very few notes on this because I knew it would be conversational and I just watched the movie, so it was fresh. But one of the only little paragraphs that I have is the dumb bitch of the movie is for sure Rob. He makes terrible decisions based on his love. I put it in quotes. I was very sassy after watching the movie.
Ooh.
I said based on his love for Beth, which I just wasn't buying, especially after he didn't seem to care at all about his brother's death. But I also think HUD is a big dummy, but that feels way too obvious. He's supposed to be the dummy. So we can say HUD number one, but man, Rob is the secret dummy.
I'm willing to
And that was my
concede on
one
that.
note-taking
That's
moment.
very eloquently said.
He is the secret
He also didn't even
dummy.
notice the projectile in the ocean, so neither
Idiot.
did any of us
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
few times
Chelsea-
around. But
I
Take it
did.
back.
He
You
was
just called us
there,
the dumb bitch.
so-
How dare?
he
So
was there
everyone
in
on this
person.
podcast is the dumb bitch. Let's
I
just
mean,
be clear.
yes.
He's the dumb bitch though, also because for the way the movie and the filming worked, he must have reviewed that footage of his day with Beth, especially those first
Right.
few minutes when they're in bed together before it does its first cut to Jason with the camera with Lily. So
Mhm.
he's been sitting there for weeks mooning over her, rewatching
Yes.
that tape and still not reaching out. So I
That's
just think
embarrassing for him.
behavior.
HUD is a dumb bitch in
Embarrassing.
character, but Hum's dead bitchness is like necessary for the structure of the film for him to
Yes.
continue filming. Jason is a dumb bitch, but has no plot relevance.
Mhm.
Rob's dumb bitch really is the
agree.
spark
I
point.
agree.
Yep. Pisses me
Well,
right
that brings
off.
us to our knives out of fives. And so, Chelsea, what did people think as they were vomiting while watching this movie?
Yeah, I mean, people definitely got motion sickness. There was something on IMDb trivia that said like there was 100 recorded cases, but that had no additional context. So like, was that from all across the country, which would seem
Right.
like not that many, or like just opening weekend? I don't know. But other than that, people did like it. On IMDb, it has a 7 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it is 78% from critics, fresh, and 68% fresh from audiences.
Honestly,
And
not
it was
bad.
nominated for 3 Teen
Oh,
Choice
Choice
Awards.
Hottie?
It was
Oh,
no, not
Choice
Choice Hottie.
Hottie,
Crazy.
which is Clover
It was
the Monster.
nominated for
Yeah, it's definitely Clover. is the
Queer
hot-
icon Clover the Monster. Yeah, it was nominated for Choice Movie for Horror Thriller, Choice Movie Actor for Horror Thriller for Rob, Michael Stahl David, and Choice Movie Actress Horror Thriller for Beth,
like
Odette
really
Annabelle.
okay.
So
She's in the movie for two.
that's what I thought when I
motherfucking
saw that. I was
seconds.
like,
It just
how
because
come
she's
Lily
hot.
isn't getting this nomination for
But
Best
Lily's hot
Actress?
too.
It's because
But
she's
I guess
hot.
she has. They have those like really emotional scenes at the
Yeah.
end too, where like that's one of the only moments where they get to like sit and breathe, and you're really seeing somebody's facial expressions up close. So like I guess that was the like evocative moment of the
Evoked things
film.
for me.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say you have
I
had
had a
many
lot of
films
Evoked
about
it
the
to your
love
right outta
story, so
ya.
like I think you are
thank you
proof
so
it did the
much.
job.
I'm the
and that is-
everyman.
All right, Odette.
Do you want to go first, or do you want us to?
Ooh. Oh wait, I
Yeah.
did have a question about this, rating the movie.
Okay.
Can you
Of
work
course,
in
you can
halves?
get into tiny
You can
little
work it however
decimal
way you want,
points, which
baby.
is what
Okay.
I've done many times.
Okay. Just making sure,
If you really love a movie and think it's really special, you can even add in a bonus knife for 6 knives.
Obsessed. Okay. I'm not doing that for this, but I like that. I like that freedom.
But good to know for the future.
Yes. I said 3.5 knives, which is good in my book, but Rob. It's Rob. It's all Rob. I don't believe Rob. And my mind was changed when I watched it 10 years later.
I also agree with 3.5 out of 5 knives.
Okay.
I got literally sick.
Sure.
Mhm.
Kind of a bummer.
But also like questionable motives on Rob, and also HUD for being like, I must go back and get my camera. Like, okay, really? Like, is it that important? Like, no. Like, I don't know.
You don't understand. HUD's actually the main character of his own story.
Well, of course he is. But
He would be.
I don't know. These people try really hard. They're like running around. They're like, we must survive. And that just would not be me in one of these situations. I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to edit myself. Let's go. Like, I don't
Right.
want to do this anymore. No, thank you.
Yeah, couldn't be me. I get it.
Wouldn't be me.
I'll go last.
Yeah, I don't know that I would try to fight my way back to Midtown. Literally go against the army in order to do so. That's, I think,
That's why
a really
Rob
high
sucks.
bar.
That's what I'm saying.
Flash,
But
who wants to be in Midtown, period?
I mean, you
Now
saw
we're
how
just-
swing
we're gonna judge
I know
Midtown.
enough about New York to know the effect of that joke. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really fun. I liked it. I had a good time. Could the characters have been more tailored to what I would have wanted from them? Sure. I did think it was really interesting in a found footage movie to have so many recognizable faces. I wonder if perhaps some of them were less recognizable in
so.
2008. Although Lizzie Kaplan would have been recognizable from Mean Girls. Odette Annabelle, I feel like, was definitely doing a lot around then. The Covenant was relatively recent to that. The Covenant was only like 2006
It was 2 years before, yeah.
ish, maybe. Yeah, so Jessica Lucas would have been recognizable also. I think it's such an interesting choice in found footage movies where they're so often presented as though they are real footage. Obviously this one is a little harder to pass off as that than something like Blair Witch Project, because like we know that the Statue of Liberty hasn't really been decapitated. So hard to have that as like the main shot of your trailer in a found footage movie and go this is totally real. We
Right.
really did find this footage. So I don't think that's like a barrier necessarily. I do think that it would have been a different, maybe more effective film if they were using relative unknowns. But that said, I thought everybody did a pretty good job with what they had, which was writing wise, maybe not that like much, but
Right.
when you're capturing the slice of life, like realistically, how much background can you like shove in there? So I would probably give it like 4 knives out of 5. A little
Okay.
bump up from where you guys were.
Okay, well, I
like
like this movie best out of everyone, and I knew that going in. I don't know. For me, I feel like there are like fake rules to found footage movies because like As Above, So Below, that like had recognizable faces too. I mean, Blair Witch definitely set the tone for all of them, but it's like it's a singularity. You know what I mean? Like Blair Witch is Blair Witch.
Yeah.
You cannot do Blair Witch again. So don't try to do something different with the
You
genre.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've seen a ton of found footage movies at this point, so I'm not like expecting them to have all unknown people. It is fun when they do have unknown people too, because it's a great launching point for someone's career, unless you were in Blair Witch and it ruined your life, which is very unfortunate.
And then it destroyed you.
But yeah, I
Yep.
mean, for me, I think that this movie is like brilliantly crafted, and I mean crafted. I think that like it's not accidental in anything that it does in a movie that makes everything look super accidental and super true to life. And I think you have to be meticulous about it in order to get something that's this affecting when the camera's going all over the thing and making everyone throw up. So if
Yeah.
you like can figure out how to not get sick from it, I'm so sorry that happened for you guys. Take a fucking Dramamine before, maybe, I don't know, it's kind of, or wear one of those bracelets.
I know.
Or
I
one
wish
of those
I'd
like
known.
gray bracelets with a little dot in it. Maybe
yeah.
that'll help. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the C
We
band
actually have a lot of that
bracelets. I
stuff
know.
at the
Who
house because
knows?
Adam's into sailing, so we'll watch it at my place next time. But I don't know. I just
There you
think
go.
this movie like is genre defining and defying in a lot of ways. Like it's like set a really, really high standard for this type of movie, which has made other found footage movies look like shit to me. And I think
Yeah,
that the
fair.
monster design is brilliant and seamlessly worked into it. And I totally get what you guys are saying that Rob's thing is so not believable. But also, as someone who was desperately in love with my best friend for years and years and years, we did not hook up. So but I can see how it could be really awkward in the aftermath. But also, men are trash, and I agree with you. But I was moved by all of it, and I am going to give this a 4.8 out of 5 because this is one of my all-time favorite movies,
Ooh.
and I just love it so much. I was like giddy watching it. I was like, can't believe that this is as good as I remember. It slaps. It fucking slaps. And
Yes.
probably one of my coolest, my favorite like looks of a monster ever. I love it when they like,
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. I mean, if you listen to our Nope episode, you heard me fucking geek out about how they made that guy. So I
Oh my gosh, I haven't listened to it yet, but I could geek out about
my
Nope
God.
forever. So I
Yeah,
can't wait to listen
sorry.
to it.
I was saying that more to the listeners, not to you, Lauren. I'm so sorry. Lauren, you didn't listen to the Nope episode?
no. I
Get
was
out
like,
the
I'm so excited.
podcast right
Lauren,
now.
you haven't listened to the
I'm
Nope
sitting here-
episode?
I'm sitting here as somebody
Lauren.
as somebody
dare
who's
you show your
listened
face.
to your show. I was saying it disappointed in myself. Like, how did
That
I
was-
not listen to the Nope one? Because I love Nope, and I feel like I annoy the shit out of
Oh.
people talking about it because I talk about how
So
epic the
good.
monster creation was and like
Yes.
the changing of shapes. And I hate when people are like, "What was Gordy the monkey about? It doesn't even tie in." I'm like, sit
Go
down,
on the
motherfucker, let me
internet
tell you how it
Actually,
and
is.
Google it, and then your
thematically,
mind
yeah.
will be blown.
Yes,
But yeah, I love this
exactly.
movie. So thanks for doing it with me for my birthday.
And
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
Okay.
Lauren, stop singing.
I know. Okay,
Lauren,
that
it's
was
my
like
birthday,
basically
and
Pee
I
Wee's
want her to
Playhouse, so
sing.
you can't get upset.
Sing for me, Lauren. No, I'm
Wait, did you
kidding.
say you're
Yeah.
March 31st?
Yes, I'm March 31st. Yeah.
March 31st. Okay. Wilder, my son's birthday is March 28th, so you guys are very
Aries,
close, little
same as
Aries
mine.
twins.
Actual baby and me.
Love it. Ashley Cassidy's an Aries too. I gravitate towards Aries. It's a thing.
I love
There you go.
Aries.
Okay. And then next week, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for best singer on the pod with this
Oh
one,
my
y'all,
God.
and go, Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those
Oh, wow.
peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get
You
those
hear the vibrato?
eyes? The vibrato. Adam
Did I
better
hear
be
the
listening
vibrato?
to this.
It's beautiful. I loved that.
I haven't seen the movie enough to know the context
Oh, it's
of
a
that beautiful
song.
performance you just gave
That's
us.
the
But wow,
song.
now I'm
Oh,
so
the
psyched.
song is
It's
everything.
the song, Chelsea.
It's the song.
I still
Yeah,
don't know what
it's a
that
song.
means
and
enough.
I
but
know it
okay.
because I have
That's
old
exciting.
parents, but they know it because I'm guessing it's in the film Jeepers Creepers.
It is.
And that's what we're doing next week.
It's a
Ha-ha!
spring break movie, and that's the sole reason. Also, who doesn't love Justin Long? Come on. We just saw him in Barbarian.
We do
We
love Justin
him.
Long.
Him and
Oh.
Kate Bosworth are just like the cutest couple I've ever
Yes,
seen in my
they're
fucking
so
life.
cute.
It's so cute.
For a second, I thought you were saying Kate Bosworth was in this, and I was like, wait, no. This is a brother and sister movie.
No, she's not. I know that was misleading. I just love that they're dating.
They're very
It's
loved
very
up,
cute.
and I love seeing it. But yeah, this should be fun. I don't think any of us have ever seen it before. But Lauren said it will have a good time.
I thought you guys had seen it. That was why you kept
I
talking
really
about
want to
it.
see it.
I've seen it a long time ago because it came out in
Oh.
like 2001. So
I'm
I
so
saw
excited for you
this.
guys to watch it. I think it's so creepy and good, and it is in a way a creature feature. So this is like kind of a connection to Cloverfield. It's unexpectedly
Right.
monster. It's so good. It is so good. I'm very excited for you guys to watch it. And the sequel also is good. It is rare to be like number 2, also just as good. But I might even like Jeepers Creepers 2 better.
Wow.
So just throwing
See,
it all out there.
this should make you feel better.
I remember
Chelsea.
liking it, so I'm
We've got a
excited.
seal of approval from Lauren, and she's got taste, and she has a beautiful voice. So we have to listen to her. Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for coming on the pod. We loved this. This was amazing. Dream come true. Best birthday present ever. Why don't you
Oh
give the
my
gift
gosh,
of
I
your
love it.
social media to everyone that is listening now?
Well, first of all, thank you again for having me. This was so much fun. I loved talking about Cloverfield and just loved looking at your faces and recording with you all. This was so much fun. I love Spooky Tuesday. And I can't wait for my partner Ashley to hopefully come on. But speaking of Ashley, we have a podcast, don't forget, called Keep It Weird, the podcast for all things strange, unusual, paranormal, supernatural, creepy, sticky, gross, scary, and everything in between. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things at Keep It Weird Cast. And you can email us at keepitweirdpodcast@gmail.com. We always throw that out because we love to receive ghost stories or alien stories or anything. We do every like 2 months. We do listener ghost
I love
stories
those episodes.
We call them listener ghost stories, but it's anything weird that's ever happened to you in your entire life. And they are the best episodes. So write in, give us a listen.
I'm gonna write in about the puppets.
Please. We need to
need
talk
to talk
about the
about the
puppets.
puppets.
I can't believe we have not.
I've got to write into y'all about the murderous voodoo preacher man from my hometown.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what a tale.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was like the biggest teaser of my
Dude.
life. I don't like write in immediately. Like when we sign off, just write.
Just write
start-
in.
Start the first draft.
Oh my
Yeah, we got
gosh.
Sydney's
Sounds
got
great.
is stacked with spooky stories. It's alarming.
Obsessed.
Oh, well,
Here for it. I believe it. I
spooky
can't
stuff.
wait.
That's why we're Spooky Tuesday. But anyway, why not follow us on social media too? You know what you should do? You should write us a review, and you should talk about how beautiful Lauren's voice is in the review. And then after you're done doing that,
Okay.
you should go and write Keep It Weird a review, 5-star review as well. Why not just pack it on? Why not just bring the joy today? Think about it. Yeah,
Love it.
come on.
Just get on.
And
a
why
roll.
not follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And we're Spooky Tuesday Pod on Tumblr and Facebook. And we're Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. Lots of options. But thank you guys for listening.
Bye, spookies.
Look at me, guys, look at me. Look at me. I love you.
I love you.
I know what I'm talking about. Come on. Admit it, you are gonna miss me a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, yeah, all right. All right, we're almost out of tape. We got like 3 seconds left. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Last thing to the king.
I had a good day.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.